Chapter 10:22. The people from the publicity department arrived quickly. When they arrived, many powerhouses from all sides had also arrived. However, these people looked around and found that other than the higher energy concentration, there seemed to be no other abnormalities. As for those rank 1 and 2 martial artists who had broken through, these people also checked but found no abnormalities, as if they were just lucky to break through. At this moment, the whole of Sun City was boiling. There were all kinds of rumors. Did you hear? Li Huzi from the neighboring community suddenly became enlightened today and cultivated to become a martial artist. I heard that many people became martial artists today. Everyone said that Minister Fong became a martial artist. There's dragon aura here in Sun City. They breathed in the dragon aura and became martial artists. Is that so? Then I have to go to Minister Fong's hometown to take a look. You? Forget it. Grandmasters have surrounded that place now. There are many grandmasters there now. No way. I should have gone earlier. Did you hear? There's a huge dragon-shaped mineral vein under Sun City. Today, the huge mineral turned into a dragon. When it left, it breathed out dragon aura. The dragon went to find Minister Fong. Did you know? Sun City used to be the celestial realm of the 3 realms. Minister Fong is the reincarnation of the celestial emperor. We were all generals of the celestial realm back then. We're starting to recover now. That was how the rumors spread. Soon, Sun City became the ruins of the celestial realm. As for Fong Ping, he was the reincarnation of the celestial emperor. Of course, these people did not know who the celestial emperor was. However, the name was domineering. On the government's side, these days, in order to stimulate the people's desire for martial arts, the publicity work was not done for nothing. Soon, all kinds of publicity videos and pictures appeared on the streets and alleys of Sun City. Although the catacombs could not shoot videos, it did not prevent humans from finding people to film and perform. The catacombs' martial artists broke into the city. Human martial artists fought a bloody battle. Many soldiers died in battle and were buried in foreign lands. God knew how many women cried watching this scene. Many men cried watching it too. Fong Ping did not think there was anything wrong with it. These were all real wars. Some of the more tragic wars were not publicized at all. Over the years, there had been many tragic battles. During the Battle of Donglin's catacombs that year, there were countless casualties. The catacombs broke through the city and almost massacred all the soldiers and martial artists in the catacombs. Fong Ping could still remember Chen Jiaxing's entire family. Other than him, everyone else died in battle. Before Zhang Tao and the others reached the apex, it was much more tragic in the past. All the relatives of Tian Mu and the others had died in battle during those years. In this Battle of the Pinnacle, there were close to 100 experts who died in battle. This was something that was rarely revealed to the public. During Fong Ping's Gaokao, there was a battle in the catacombs in Tiannan. No one knew how many reinforcements had died in battle. Nanjiang Martial Arts University's previous president had died in Tiannan. Now, Fong Ping felt that it was necessary to use the war dead as propaganda and guidance. For those who had not experienced the Catacombs War, no matter how fierce the catacombs were, they might not be able to understand. However, through videos, short films, and pictures, some people's hot-blooded hearts were more or less aroused. As the promotion progressed, more and more figures appeared in Fong Ping's source world. There were quite a number of youngsters. Fong Ping lamented. Sure enough, young people were hot-blooded. In the end, as soon as these people entered, their strength increased. This instantly caused a chain reaction. Even if some people thought that if the sky fell, there would be tall people to protect them. At this moment, they also felt a little hot-blooded. To the catacombs, to join the army. To join the war, martial artists became stronger through battles. Martial arts must fight. This was what all martial artists said. However, they might not understand it even if they heard it. At this moment, these people understood a little. At the same time, all the publicity points were packed with people. Some of the grandmasters looked around and frowned. Jade Hollow Child watched as an ordinary person beside him had his vitality boiling in the blink of an eye. Although he did not advance to a martial artist, his vitality had reached about 150 calories in an instant. This was also the peak of one's honing. How can this be? Willpower? Could it be related to the origin of Taoism? Has the origin of Taoism in the human world become easier to contact? Willpower was something that could only be considered after reaching rank 9. Now that these ordinary people were like this, perhaps the human world's Taoism had appeared, and it was easier to sense. Not far away, the grandmasters from Black Light and the few other families were also surprised. Some even wanted to capture a few people who suddenly became stronger for research, but they quickly dispelled this idea. It was okay to do it in secret. If they did it in Sun City, Fong Ping could chase them to death. Most of these people had participated in the war with Fong Ping fought in the king's battleground. They knew how ruthless Fong Ping was. The number of true gods he killed was not just 1 or 2. The rank 9s who died in Fong Ping's hands were uncountable. They were afraid, but some people were not. At this moment, there were people in the crowd who were ready to make a move. They wanted to research what was going on. At the center of the square outside the House of Commanders. At this moment, many people had gathered. At the outermost area, a few men looked indifferent, a little out of place with the hot-blooded crowd around them. A few people looked at each other. Looking at the people who were becoming stronger, their eyes moved slightly. Missionary, Sun City's commander, is Zhang Peng, the grandson of the martial king. He has the strength of a rank 8 golden body, but he has just reached the second stage of a rank 8 golden body. The other 2 generals of Sun City are both rank 7. However, there are many grandmasters gathered here now. Jade Sky's Jade Hollow is here, Black Light's Su Bing is here, and Guanming's Prince Hongji is here too. A few of them secretly transmitted their voices. The man who was called Missionary was tall and burly. In the past, evil sects were suppressed in Sino Nation. Missionaries were only rank 2 and 3 martial artists. Now, this missionary transmitted his voice. Zhang Peng and the rest are nothing to worry about. Jade Hollow and the rest are not weak, but I think they won't dare to make an enemy out of the divine sect by kidnapping a few ordinary mortals. As the missionary said, he transmitted his voice again. I just don't want to make a big fuss now. It's easy to get into trouble, but if we don't make a move now, I'm worried that these people will be taken away by Sino Nation's department soon. He had already seen Sun City's detective guards communicating with the people who had become stronger. It looked like they were going to gather and take them away. Sino Nation was not stupid. If these people suddenly became stronger, it might attract attention from all sides, and they would attack secretly. If that was the case, of course, they had to strengthen their protection. At least before they figured out how they had become stronger, all sides would be interested in them. However, there were many people who suddenly had a breakthrough now. Sun City did not have enough manpower. At this moment, a man picked up the phone. After listening for a while, he said quickly, "Missionary, Auspicious Peace's army is setting off from Rising Sun City. A large number of Nanjiang powerhouses are rushing here. This time, the missionary frowned. He was very strong. However, once the Sino Nation army arrived, although there were not many powerhouses in Nanjiang's military department, once they were entangled, they would be killed by Sino Nation's reinforcements. Sino Nation was not without powerhouses. If they did not make a move now, those who had become stronger might be taken away by the military department soon. When that time came, they might not have the chance to study them anymore. The divine sect was also very interested in the changes in Sun City. They had been searching for half a day now, but they could not find the source. The only clue they had was these people who had become stronger. The missionary felt that there must be something special about these people. Looking around, the missionary saw Jade Hollow, Hongji, and the rest. Meanwhile, on the Sino Nation's side, Zhang Peng was also standing on top of the House of Governors building, looking around. It seemed like he was also guarding against some powerhouses causing trouble. He was the grandson of King Wu, a rank 8 golden body. Jade Hollow and the rest could move around in Sino Nation's territory because they were being watched. If they did not want to completely fall out with Earth, they probably would not dare to make a move now. With King Wu's grandson overseeing things, it was enough to suppress all sides. The missionary was conflicted. Was it worth exposing himself now? For a few mortals? But this was very important. Sun City was not an ordinary place. It was fine if it was an ordinary place, but Sun City had Fang Ping and Wang Jinyang. Both of them were important figures passed down by the divine sect. Such a problem had appeared in their hometown. It was very important. On the divine sect side, the new Grand Pope had taken office. He also urgently needed to prove something and show his existence. Although it was safe to make arrangements in secret, how could he attract new followers to join? Maybe I can show my strength. But the divine sect should be more gentle this time, he thought of the new Grand Pope's words. There was no need to blindly kill humans. Perhaps it was better to be gentle. According to the Grand Pope, the previous Grand Pope was a good-for-nothing. With the divine sect's strength, influence, and ability, if they gave some benefits and showed some strength, perhaps the divine sect would have long become the only religion on earth. Take a few people away and intimidate Zhang Peng. After a few days, find the reason why they became stronger, make them stronger, and send them back. With the Sino Nation government's attitude, they won't kill them directly, and these people will be the divine sect's best publicity. This missionary was slightly moved at this moment. Next, perhaps he could follow this plan, secretly nurturing a group of ordinary people, making them the target of publicity and display. They did not need to kill people, did not need to know combat techniques. Even if it was just to forcefully raise them to rank 5 or 6, or even higher ranks, that would definitely attract countless people to join the divine sect, which martial artists would despise their own strength for being too low. This might be the best way for the divine sect to develop. In the past, when King Wu and the others were around, their spiritual consciousness covered half of Sino Nation. The divine sect dared not act rashly. But now, don't tell me we have to rely on Fang Ping to cover our spiritual consciousness. Although Li Zhen did not go in, he was recuperating. The new Grand Pope also said that there was no need to worry about Li Zhen. As for Fang Ping, it was said that his strength was not at the apex. He was only at the quasi-apex. Did the other party have the ability to cover Sino Nation? Forget Sino Nation. They could not even cover Magic City. The more he thought about it, the more missionary felt that it was time for him to make a move. He could not wait for the Sino Nation army to come and take these people away. Listen to the order. Missionary's mentality fluctuated, transmitting his voice to the others. He was a rank 9 powerhouse, and he had not just entered it. He had also walked a distance on the origin path. The others all had rank 7 or 8 strength. This time, the divine sect made a comeback, and there were many powerhouses who came. Other than the true God-level Grand Pope, there were more than 50 high-ranked powerhouses. Among these people, some were from the divine sect headquarters, and some were martial artists who had stayed behind and dared not show their faces. This time, There was a change in Sun City. He was the closest to this place, and soon he brought a few high-ranked powerhouses to investigate. As for whether Jade Hollow and the rest had discovered him, he did not care too much. He had the spiritual consciousness barrier given to him by the Grand Pope. Unless the other party had the Grand Pope's strength, it would be difficult for them to notice his abnormality. If he made a move later, once the divine sect's name was announced, these fellows would probably not dare to make a move. Missionary thought and said quickly, "Later, I will stop Zhang Peng and the rest. You guys abduct some mortals who have enhanced their strength and retreat quickly. Remember, don't kill too many people. This time, the divine sect has reappeared in the world, combining strength and gentleness. If you kill too much, it will only make the mortals in the world afraid." "Yes, sir." The few of them responded one after another. At the same time, they responded, not far away. Fong Ping stared at them, sighing. He rubbed his chin. Were they sending him a pillow when he was sleepy? He was just thinking about how to look cooler when he showed up later. Now, they were coming to him. Don't ask him how he found out. Right now, Fong Ping felt like he could do anything in the Sun City area. His mentality was strong to begin with. 10,000 was the symbol of the top. Even if it was not as good as the new Grand Pope, it was still on the same level. This person could hide from Jade Hollow, but not from him. Interesting. The evil sect is starting to learn how to be gentle. Fong Ping felt a little emotional. He was not afraid of the evil sect being strong or evil, but he was a little afraid of them pretending to be good guys. It's really easy to deceive some people by pretending to be good guys. It seems like the problem of the evil sect needs to be solved as soon as possible. Now that the other party is actually preparing to revive, it seems like they want to take advantage of old Zhang and the rest while they are not here. But if that's the case, what do you think of me, Fong Ping? Fong Ping cursed in his heart. Was he shameless? With old Zhang and the rest around, the evil sect was suppressed to the point where they did not even dare to show their faces. Now that old Zhang and the rest were gone, and he had just become a big leader, the evil sect was already active. Was this not looking down on him? Rank 9 for stage, not considered weak. 2 rank 8s, 2 rank 7s. They've really invested a lot. Fong Ping was still a little surprised. The evil sect had a lot of powerhouses. It seemed like their base camp was not short of people. Otherwise, how could there be so many high-ranked martial artists? He was not too familiar with these people. If they said that rank 7 could be hidden in the human world, he would believe it. After all, there were too many people, and rank 7 was not too eye-catching. Rank 9, however, was probably a new one. That God 3 is still locked up in the Heaven Division. Later, I'll ask some of the evil sect's strongholds on Earth, see if I can get rid of a batch. Fong Ping thought about it, and did not delay. At this moment, he had set up layer after layer of psychic energy barriers in all directions. His mentality was at the peak of the realm. Now that he had concealed his aura and opened an opening for them to listen to the sound, these people would not be able to discover the barriers he had set up. Fong Ping was also worried that it would affect the others. Otherwise, he could kill these guys with one punch. The rank 9 for stage 1 would not be an exception. The main thing was that he was afraid of accidents happening. And if he could not stop them in time, there would be casualties. In a flash, Fong Ping had set up more than 10 layers of mentality barriers. The peak barriers could solidify objects. At this moment, ripples appeared in the void. The missionary seemed to feel that something was not right. At this moment, he suddenly roared, "Do it!" As soon as he said that, the missionary and the 2 rank 8 powerhouses unleashed their golden bodies. The missionary went straight for Zhang Peng. The others hurried in all directions. They had already chosen their targets. At this moment, the missionary roared and then shouted, "The divine sect's teachings, everyone retreat." As soon as he said that, Jade Hollowchild and the rest reacted, their feet that were about to move stopped. The divine sect, in the battle of the Martial King's battleground, the divine sect had revealed their strength. A heavenly king, 3 great saints, and dozens of peak experts. No one in the 3 realms was stronger than this kind of force. Previously, the catacombs' 4 majestic chambers could still work together, but now it might not be possible. You're asking for it. At this moment, Zhang Peng also roared angrily, feeling slightly worried. The evil sect people had actually come. He did not expect these people to be so daring, actually coming to Sino Nation's hinterland. They had taken Sun City seriously. There was him, a rank 8, 2 rank 7 generals, and a few rank 7 martial artists who were monitoring Jade Hollowchild here. As for the rank 9, right now, Sino Nation really could not spare more than a few. In the previous battle, many had fallen, and almost all of the remaining people were injured. Right now, the 4 departments and 4 residences, including the passageway, needed people to suppress. The rank 9 martial artists all had missions. In addition, Wu Quishan and the rest knew that Fong Ping was here, so they did not let the rank 9 martial artists come. But Zhang Peng did not know. Right now, he was extremely worried. The evil sect powerhouses were even stronger than him. No, Zhang Peng was slightly stunned. He could see through the golden body, but where was his aura? While he was in a daze, what happened next made everyone dumbfounded. The missionary and a few evil sect powerhouses, after roaring, were extremely fast. Just as they were about to rush out, there was a loud bang. The missionary was the fastest. At this moment, he seemed to have hit something, making him dizzy. Not only that, there was golden blood flowing from his forehead. Right after he hit something, the others also hit it, one after another, their heads bleeding from the impact. The next moment, Jade Hollowchild suddenly exclaimed, "Spiritual barrier!" Peak, Su Bing, and the rest also reacted. There was a desperation powerhouse in the dark. When they came to their senses, the missionary's expression changed drastically. He roared, "Peak is here! Quick, break the barrier!" Fong Ping had waited until now. How would he give them time? At this moment, everyone in Sun City saw a shocking scene. The sky was broken. In the sky, a rift was opened. 2 gigantic arms tore the rift apart. The next moment, an incomparably huge giant appeared in midair, shining with golden light. His body was huge, more than 20 meters tall. Fong Ping was wearing the Sky Sect martial arts uniform. This was an illusion. At this moment, Fong Ping's expression was cold. With his hands behind his back, he said coldly, "How dare you? How dare the evil sect show up? Aren't you afraid that the headquarters will destroy you again? A mere rank 9 4-stage dares to behave atrociously in my Sun City?" As soon as he finished speaking, Fong Ping stepped on his military-issue leather boots and stomped down. The rank 9 missionary wanted to run, but at this moment he was stunned by Fong Ping's mentality, unable to move. At this moment, he could only watch helplessly as Fong Ping's huge foot stomped down. Fong Ping was also secretly unleashing his full strength. He had to stomp this guy to death with 1 foot. He had to do it casually and effortlessly. He had even concealed his aura. He did not need to unleash too much of his aura. He could stomp him to death easily. This was in line with his peak persona. Fong Ping's painstaking acting was not in vain. Under the shocked gazes of everyone in Sun City, Fong Ping, who had just broken through the sky and arrived, stepped lightly in his military boots. At this moment, a shrill, blood-curdling scream rang out everywhere. The rank 9 missionary was directly crushed into pieces by Fong Ping's stomp. His golden body collapsed, and his mentality exploded. At the same time, Fong Ping loosened a small opening in the barrier. At this moment, everyone in Sun City below rank 9, without exception, felt an earth-shattering aura. There was no pressure, just that kind of incomparably powerful aura. There was no need to show how strong he was, but he had to show that the enemy was very strong. The stronger the enemy, the faster he would die. The easier he killed, the more it would prove his strength. Fong Ping knew this very well. At this moment, the moment the missionary was killed, he unleashed the missionary's monstrous aura. Everyone in the entire Sun City was palpitating. Fong Ping, however, did not seem to feel it. He stomped him into pieces with one foot and snorted coldly. Earth is not a place where you can be arrogant. You want to massacre my Sun City? You'll have to ask me, Fong Ping. As soon as he finished speaking, Fong Ping stomped his foot again. No, a rank 8 golden body powerhouse roared, his face full of fear. However, he did not move an inch. He could not move at all. His mentality was much weaker than Fong Ping's. Fong Ping's mentality was so powerful that it was in the process of a qualitative change. Both of them were facing each other. How could he break free from Fong Ping's control? Therefore, under everyone's shocked gaze, Fong Ping stomped the other's golden body into thousands of pieces like he was stomping an ant to death. It's fine if there are 3 to 5 paragons, but a few rank 8 and 9 martial artists. Do you really think there's no one capable among us humans? Fong Ping snorted coldly again. He kicked out. In front of him, a rank 7 martial artist exploded from the kick, his flesh and blood exploding. Fong Ping did not kill the remaining rank 8 and rank 7 martial artists. Instead, he covered the sky with one hand and captured them directly. He said lightly, "That's good too. Now that I've found you guys, I've found the evil sex tracks. How dare you cause trouble on Earth? I'll destroy you guys again." After saying that, Fong Ping looked at Jade Hollow and the rest, saying coldly, "Grandmasters can act on Earth. As long as they have ill intentions, the evil sect will be their end. Fong Ping, have fought together with you guys before. I don't want to say much, but I have to make things clear. The change in Sun City was caused by the energy array I set up. I'm secretly selecting warriors who are brave enough to fight on the battlefield for us humans. Sun City is my hometown. That's why I'm being stubborn and selfish this time. I'll select them in Sun City first. Next, Fong Ping will set up arrays in some cities one after another to select heroes. Anyone with a strong will who is willing to lay down their lives and shed their blood for humanity is a hero among men. Fong Ping gave you some treasures to help you improve your strength and provide you with some insurance to fight for humanity." Fong Ping said loudly, "Fong Ping will not cancel Sun City's array. Those who improve their abilities today are all heroes among men. Of course, everyone has a chance. When the country is in danger, I believe everyone will understand that only by being strong can we not be slaves of a subjugated country. Only then can we not kneel down and beg others. In the next 1 to 2 years, Fong Ping will spend a lot of money to set up this array everywhere. This array is the origin array. Whether you can pass or not depends on yourself. Outsiders can't help you." After saying that, Fong Ping looked at Zhang Peng and said in a low voice, "Your Minister Zhang's grandson, the descendant of a martial king, a rank 8 golden body. Minister Zhang has mentioned you many times in front of me. We've met once before. Now that you're Sun City's commander, you almost caused a massacre in Sun City because of the evil sect. Don't you have the heart to protect your land?" Zhang Peng's expression changed. Beside him, a rank 7 grandmaster said hurriedly, Minister Fong, Commander Zhang hasn't been in Sun City for long. That person just now is also a rank 9 powerhouse. Fong Ping ignored him and looked at Zhang Peng again. He let out a light humph. I've set up a big array here. Those who are strong-willed have the chance to pass. Even rank 8 have the chance to obtain opportunities and improve their abilities. But you can't. I think you're not satisfied with your position as Sun City's commander. Do your best and be loyal to your duty. This is basic. You are Yang City's admiral. No matter how great your ambitions are, you can't even protect Yang City. You are not fit to call yourself the descendant of a martial king. Zhang Peng's expression changed again, and he said in a low voice, Minister Fong, Zhang Peng didn't mean that. I'm just worried about Grandpa's safety, so I want to go to the catacombs to fight. Fong Ping barked coldly. If you can't even do your job properly, what else can you do? Going to the catacombs to fight? You're at the top, or overlord tier, or a saint. Before King Wu, his battle prowess was comparable to that of a sage, but he still fought until he was exhausted. What could you do? Zhang Peng's expression changed again. After a long while, he let out a long sigh and said, Zhang Peng was wrong. Since I'm Sun City's military commander, I'll do what Sun City's military commander should do. Don't worry, Minister Fong. Zhang Peng will definitely protect the peace of Sun City. Unless I die in battle first. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Peng's aura skyrocketed. What had increased was his spiritual power. At this moment, a mass of imperishable substance appeared in Fong Ping's hand, tossing it out casually. Zhang Peng's aura skyrocketed extremely quickly. In the blink of an eye, he was at rank 8 third refinement. Very soon, he was at rank 8 fourth refinement. Under everyone's dumbfounded gaze, Zhang Peng seemed to have reached his limit. Fong Ping tossed out another mass of imperishable substance. Zhang Peng let out a low roar. In the next moment, his golden body burst with golden light. Golden body 5th refinement. He who was at rank 8 second refinement became rank 8 5th refinement in an instant. Zhang Peng was also in a daze. He stared at Fong Ping, speechless for a long time. The whole world was silent. Fong Ping was still indifferent. He said in a clear voice, I asked an ancient powerhouse for advice and set up this array at great cost. Everyone must cherish it. Sun City is my hometown, so it's already unfair for me to choose Sun City as my first stop. However, you were selected to fight on the battlefield. Fong Ping, don't think it's inappropriate even if there's a risk of dying in battle. However, this array is rare. Everyone should cherish it. Everyone has a chance. Having said that, Fong Ping sighed softly. I only hope that everyone is willing to fight for humanity, to fight for peace. Having said that, Fong Ping tore apart the void and left with the 2 cultists. After he left, a rank 6 martial artist who was publicizing earlier suddenly roared, We won't let Minister Fong down. As soon as he said that, the crowd seemed to have come back to their senses. Some young men and women were flushed with excitement, roaring, We won't let Minister Fong down. Fight for Sino Nation. Fight for humanity. It was too exciting. Minister Fong appeared and displayed his invincible might, trampling a rank 9 and a rank 8 to death, kicking a rank 7 to death. He had even set up an unimaginable formation in Yang City. It could actually enhance one's strength. They saw with their own eyes that not only the ordinary people, but even the rank 8 commander had actually advanced. These residents were shocked at this moment. They were all excited. Their emotions were about to explode. They were not the only ones who were about to explode. At this moment, Jade Hollow Child and the rest were stunned. What was this? The Origin Array. They had never heard of it. The ancient powerhouse. Song Mao. There was such an array. Zhang Peng went from rank 8 second stage to rank 8 fifth stage in the blink of an eye right under their noses. It was unbelievable. At this moment, even powerhouses like Jade Hollowchild were trembling with excitement. Could we enhance ourselves here? Fight for humanity? Fight for Sino Nation? Defend the territory? Could they enhance their strength just like that? Everyone looked at each other, a little bitter. This might be a little difficult. However, if it could really help them improve, it was not like they could not change their minds slowly. Fang Ping did not know that his random nonsense would make these powerhouses think this way. If they knew, they would probably laugh out loud. These old antiques had never thought of such a concept at all. If they really believed it, maybe they could really hypnotize themselves and become humanity's protector in the end. If that was the case, if they could really enter Fang Ping's origin world, Fang Ping would not mind reciprocating to each other. Of course, it would be very difficult. Thousands of years of fixed thinking could not be changed so easily. However, if this matter got out, it might also cause some turmoil in Outland. As for whether it was good or bad, whether someone was coveting the so-called origin array, it would depend on whether Fang Ping had the ability to resolve such a crisis. Chapter 10:23. Fang Ping has set up the origin array in Sun City. It can enhance rank 8 abilities. Has Fang Ping really entered a desperate situation, killing a 4th stage rank 9 martial artist with one stomp? Unbelievable. How do we set up the origin formation? He could actually do this. Our men from the Profound Light sect have been searching for a long time in Sun City, but they haven't found anything out of the ordinary, nor have they been able to raise their strength. What a waste, what a waste. It's such a waste to set up such a huge formation, just to raise the strength of those mortals. Did he learn the great ancient formation from Tsang Mao? Why haven't I heard of it? I knew it. Even if Sun City is a land of hidden dragons, Fang Ping isn't even an emperor level yet. How can he make Sun City's chickens and dogs rise to the sky? Turns out he has the support of the array. On this day, all the forces in the 3 realms who received the news were in an uproar. The strength that Fang Ping had displayed today was stronger than they had expected. Not everyone had seen Fang Ping's performance during the battle that day. A rank 9 martial artist was trampled to death by him in front of hundreds of thousands of people. In a situation where the 3 realms' pinnacle was few and far between, powerhouses like Fang Ping were already standing at the pinnacle of the 3 realms. The catacombs, Mount Royalsea on an island. At this moment, a middle-aged martial artist, hands behind his back, snorted coldly. Fang Ping, this person is really overbearing. This time, when the divine sect entered the human world, this person killed my general before we even took action. Damn it! The middle-aged man was one of the 72 divine masters, true Lord Dijo. This time, he was also the one who had come to assume the role of the Pope of Earth. Who would have thought that a level 9 expert under his command would be killed within a few days of entering the Earth? Not only were there rank 9 martial artists, but there were also 2 rank 8s and 2 rank 7s. Even in the divine sect, there were not many high-ranked martial artists. They had many apex experts and many emperor-level experts. That was because they had survived from the archaic era. There weren't many who had recently advanced. As true Lord Earthweek spoke, a person knelt in front of him, saying in a low voice, "True Lord, I'm afraid Fang Ping has officially entered a desperate situation. What should we do? Calm down." Perfected Lord Earth, Zhou replied indifferently. Even if he advances, he's just at initial stage, and there's nothing to be afraid of. What I'm more concerned about right now is how to set up this source formation. Is it only effective for rank 8s or even rank 9s? He was more concerned about the array formation. Did Tsang Mao give it to him? That was a true antique, even older than King Kuan. It was not surprising that Song Mao had such an array. If he had such a formation, he might be able to use it to nurture his direct descendants. Fong Ping's so-called fighting for humanity and Sino-nation would allow him to improve. In the eyes of true Lord Earthly Zhou, it was just a pretense for Fong Ping to cultivate his direct descendants. Fong Ping was probably the one controlling this array to elevate whoever it was. At the thought of this, perfected Lord Earthweek said in a low voice, "Have you contacted Chong Rong Heaven's people? I want to borrow the Tao to merge with the heavens and go to the human world." "My lord," the kneeling martial artist said softly, "Chong Rong Tian has already sealed off heavens beyond and is not willing to borrow the path. This subordinate went to great peace heaven, supreme emperor heaven, these heavens beyond heavens, but they all rejected us." Then, he added, "They said that the human world is overbearing. Once the portal is discovered, and now that the sovereign is not here, I'm afraid it will be breached by the human world." "What about the Mystic Sky clan? They are also unwilling." The kneeling martial artist's voice became even softer. "They are cooperating with the human world's martial artists. They don't want to fall out with the human world at this time." Perfected Lord Dizhou frowned. He was at the absolute peak. Once he entered Earth through the passageway, it would definitely cause the passageway to tremble, and he would be discovered. The headquarters of the Divine Church was a fragment of the heavenly realm, so it was impossible to open a passage to Earth. But the realm beyond heavens and the land of domains could. At the thought of this, perfected Lord Earthly Zhou harumphed coldly. "Go ask the few clans of Mount Luofu, and tell them that I'm just borrowing the path." If he did not lend it, it would be difficult to enter the human realm beyond heaven, and he would not be able to move the blessed grotto heaven. Aren't they afraid that our divine sect will annihilate them? There were also passageways leading to Earth in the domain of domains. Xuanda Grotto Heaven and Weiyu Mountain were collaborating with humans. He did not dare to go to Wanwu Mountain. There was no one at Quechong Mountain and Purple Cap Mountain. It was hard to say if they were still there. However, there were still people in the other three paradises. The place was right there. If they did not borrow the path, it was not like they did not have the ability to destroy the divine sect. He had to go to Earth to preside over the divine sect. Staying in the Taboo Sea, the government's orders were not in order, and they were unable to grasp everything about the divine religion. Having said that, true Lord Earthweek spoke again. "Send someone to keep an eye on Fong Ping." "My lord, the kneeling martial artists were terrified." "Watch Fong Ping? Was that not courting death?" Perfected Lord Earthweek was a little annoyed. He suppressed his anger and said lightly, "Go, watch the people around him. Friends, family, they do not have Fong Ping's ability. I will grant you a spiritual sense barrier. No one will be able to discover you. I want to see where he will set up the origin array next time." That array was really tempting. After he entered Earth, perhaps he should go and take a look for himself. Even if Fong Ping had really entered the absolute peak, he would still be a beginner. He was a veteran powerhouse. Fong Ping might not be able to discover him easily. Unlike before, when people like King Wu and Heavenly King Garrison were around, the previous pope was cautious in his actions, afraid that they would be leaked. Now, the protectors were searching for the Netherworld King. In the vast human world, Fong Ping was the strongest. If he was not afraid of attracting human attention, he would have gone straight through the passageway. The catacombs, Destiny Royal Court. Inside the palace, Ji Yao sat on the throne, watching the people below, whispering without any respect. She was furious. Fong Ping's words carried enormous weight in the land of rebirth. Now, he was the commander of the land of rebirth. As for her, the real princess, after the news of the Life King's death spread. Her rule was almost overthrown. If not for the news that her father was still alive, these people were a little afraid. They might have killed her long ago and installed another lord. Now, the news from the land of rebirth came. Fang Ping trampled a rank 9 to death with 1 foot. Ji Yao was suddenly indescribably envious. As expected, ability was the foundation. Fang Ping said a long time ago that it was better to rely on oneself than on others. Without the Life King and Ji Hong, she was nothing. Now, the facts had proven everything. Her father was not dead yet, but these people had already ignored her. Even if she sat on the Lord's seat, these people did not treat her as a lord at all. If not for some rank 9s in the Destiny Army supporting her and the Ji family, she might not be the one sitting in this throne hall today. Suppressing the restlessness in her heart, Ji Yao said calmly, "Everyone, the royal court does not need to care about the land of rebirth." Before her voice died away, a rank 9 powerhouse below said lightly, "Your Highness is wrong. The land of rebirth is our divine continent's great enemy. How can we not care? Lord Life King even died in the hands of the land of rebirth powerhouses." Ji Yao's expression changed. She looked at this person and said lightly, "What Palace Master you means is to attack the land of rebirth now." Her words carried a faint sense of mockery. However, this Palace Master did not seem to mind and pretended not to understand. He smiled faintly and said, "Even if we don't attack the land of rebirth, we can't let the land of rebirth grow stronger. I have a small suggestion. This time, the Destiny Army's commander-in-chief has suffered heavy losses. The Destiny Army should be reorganized. Suppress the land of rebirth and guard the rebirth passageway. Don't let the land of rebirth be domineering. Your Highness can stay in the palace with peace of mind. Just leave the Destiny Army to us. Palace Master Yu is right. That's right. Your Highness can stay in the Imperial City. Leave the trivial matters to us." "Your Highness, these are wise words. Your Highness, please give the order." Ji Yao's expression was getting uglier, forcing an abdication. Although these people did not make things difficult, they were now seizing power and forcing an abdication. The Destiny Army had not suffered many losses these years. The Skyplant's royal court had 300,000 Skyplant soldiers. The Destiny Army did not suffer many losses, so they had more people, including Qi Huanyu. There were 48 rank 9 commanders-in-chief previously, including rank 9 commanders-in-chief. However, the battle at the Imperial City's battleground had lost 30 people. Today, the Destiny Army still had 18 commanders-in-chief. Half of them supported the Ji family. However, once these people took over, the hundreds of thousands of Destiny Army might soon leave the Ji family's influence. When that time came, would the other half of the commanders-in-chief still support her? Even if they did without military power, although a rank 9 was strong, there were 10,000 of them. They were all middle ranks and could rival a rank 9. Without military power, would those royal city lords still listen to the Ji family? Without military power, would those outland royal city lords still care about the Ji family and Ji Yao? All these years, the Ji family had invested too much in the Destiny Army, listening to everyone forcing her to abdicate. The few rank 9s who wanted to speak up for her were suppressed. This made Ji Yao even more indignant. Did her father enter the Sky Cemetery or not? If he did not enter, where was he now? In the huge royal court, the only one who was known to not enter the Sky Cemetery seemed to be King Pingshan. As for King Pingshan, he returned to his Pingshan region as soon as he came back. He announced to the public that he would recuperate in seclusion and would not leave the Pingshan region for 100 years. Was there anyone who did not leave? Ji Yao did not know. She only knew that if this went on, she would not be able to control the royal court. Listening to everyone's mouths moving, Ji Yao was extremely tired. She said lightly, "We'll discuss this later. Now that everything is undecided, please appease the royal court, especially the outland royal city." After a while, Ji Yao stood up and said, "Court dismissed." With that, she left the main hall and walked toward the bedroom. Behind her, a powerhouse chuckled. "Your Highness, we still need to make a decision within 10 days. The Destiny Army is the royal court's trump card. If this drags on for too long, I'm afraid something will happen." Ji Yao did not answer. This was the deadline they gave her. When she returned to the bedroom, Phoenix Sparrow looked at Ji Yao's furious look and was slightly worried. She sent a voice transmission. "Are you all right? If you can't, let's leave. I've asked the Guardian Royal Court. Elder Ancestor did not return. Ji Yao, we have no one to rely on now." Ji Yao suddenly slammed the tea table. The rank 7 monster plant table was smashed instantly. Ji Yao's expression was slightly ferocious. She said in a low voice, "They are all forcing me. Since they are like this, don't blame me for being merciless. Fong Ping is in the land of rebirth, leading the land of rebirth, and has already entered the pinnacle. He is eyeing the royal court of God Continent. Based on my understanding of him, he will definitely take this opportunity to march into God Continent. If all the powerhouses in the royal court support me and are united, Fong Ping will not be able to take the initiative." There were close to 500,000 Destiny Army, and there were many royal court rank 9. Even if Fong Ping had reached the pinnacle, would he dare to attack the royal court alone? But now, Ji Yao said coldly, "Since they want me to die, then I will send them to their deaths. I'm sure Fong Ping will be happy to kill these people and weaken the royal court's strength." Ji Yao. Fong Ke was stunned. She said hurriedly, "Fong Ping is ambitious and extremely cunning. Once he kills these rank 9s, his next step might be to destroy the Destiny Royal Court." This was no longer asking a tiger for its skin. Ji Yao did not have a trump card to suppress Fong Ping. If that was the case, then she would be sending the royal court's strength to the grave for nothing. "Stall for time," Ji Yao said coldly. "Stall until father returns. Stall until I achieve rank 9, and you achieve rank 9. Only when they are dead can I have the confidence to control the entire royal court. Fong Ping is a smart man. If he destroys the royal court now, the land of rebirth will also suffer heavy losses. Moreover, if the land of rebirth destroys a royal court, it will only make other parties fear him and join forces to destroy them. So, as long as I give him benefits, or even send people to assist him to weaken the other royal court strength, he will agree. He will even protect you and me, because we are his pawns in Godland. Wait until I achieve rank 9 and control the royal court. As long as I can achieve true king level as soon as possible, then I will be qualified to talk about the future." Fong Ke seemed a little worried. Fong Ping was not a tiger. He was a devil who devoured people without spitting out their bones. Ji Yao had cooperated with him a few times. When had she ever gained the slightest advantage? Moreover, there was the suppression of the Life King in the past. Now that there was no one to suppress Fong Ping, in the end, perhaps the royal court would be destroyed in Ji Yao's hands. Ji Yao knew all these. However, at this time, unless she was really willing to be a puppet lord, or even if she handed over the Heavenly Mandate Army, she would not even have the chance to be a puppet lord. If that was the case, then don't blame her for being ruthless. Even if the royal court was to be destroyed, it must be destroyed in the hands of the Ji family. It should not be the Ji family being destroyed and others benefiting. 10 days later, if these people continue to force me, then don't blame me. Ji Yao gritted her teeth and said in a low voice, "I've given them a chance. Moreover, the royal court still has King Pingshan. The royal court won't be destroyed so easily. Fang Ping will also be wary. The royal court still had powerhouses. Once Fang Ping attacked the royal court, it would only attract King Pingshan's attack. Ji Yao did not believe that King Pingshan would still go into closed-door cultivation when the disaster of destruction arrived. Ji Yao thought about King Pingshan. At this moment, Fang Ping had just arrived at Sky Island, carrying the two evil sect martial artists. Guo Shengquan, who had been guarding the Magic City catacombs for the past few days, was already waiting. Seeing Fang Ping, Guo Shengquan looked emotional. Soon, he smiled and said, "Minister Fang, this time you've really shocked the whole world." Having said that, he said quickly, "Your news has just spread. Here in Magic City, a catacombs rank 9 has entered, bringing a letter from the Pingshan region. He said that it's a message from King Pingshan, asking you to open it personally." As he said that, Guo Shengquan handed over a crystal-like letter. Fang Ping smiled and sent energy into it. King Pingshan sent a letter to him. He even made a desperate realm-solidified barrier. Was this not for others to see? What was this guy trying to say? At this moment, the crystal moved a little. A figure floated out, extremely majestic. Fang Ping did not care. It was just a wisp of mentality, a mechanical program. This should have been set by King Pingshan long ago. It seemed like it would only speak when it sensed Fang Ping's aura. After a while, the virtual figure said, "Fang Ping, I have no intention of becoming enemies with everyone. I'm injured and need to go into closed-door cultivation. The Pingshan region will be closed for 100 years. The Pingshan region is located in the depths of the King's Court. It's not connected to the land of rebirth. It's a poor and remote place with few life mineral veins and no monster plant specialties. There are only 3 royal cities in the Pingshan region. The city lords of the royal cities are all my disciples. Their personalities are also like mine. This time, the Pingshan region doesn't welcome anyone." Guo Shengquan listened and said in a daze, "Fang Ping, what does this mean?" King Pingshan was like a chatterbox. After talking for a long time, the virtual figure dissipated. He did not quite understand. Fang Ping chuckled. "What do you mean?" "This guy is saying that he's going to hide for the winter and won't come out. His family is very poor. He has no money and no power. His 3 disciples are like him. They're all cowards and don't dare to come out. Don't even think about looking for him in the Destiny Royal Court. He won't see anyone. We can kill anyone but him." Guo Shengquan was stunned. After a while, he mumbled, This is the catacombs' true king?" No matter how cowardly the catacombs' true king was, he would not do something so shameless, right? He sent someone to sue for peace, admit defeat, and not come out. The catacombs' true king also cared about his reputation. Not only did he care about his reputation, but he also cared about it a lot. However, this guy had turned Guo Shengquan's worldview upside down. At this moment, the old man could not help but say, "You didn't misunderstand, did you?" Fang Ping said indifferently, "Why would I?" This guy's meaning is so obvious. He's clearly telling me that he's afraid. If I push him too hard, he'll move and run away. If he runs away, it'll be more dangerous if he's not under my watch. He won't fight me in a fight, but if he runs away, it'll be troublesome indeed. I still have to guard against him. In short, just don't go to the Pingshan region. As for the rest, he can do whatever he wants. He'll pretend he didn't see it." Fang Ping shook his head and sighed. How did this guy become a paragon? I'm curious now. Could it be that cowards really existed in this world? This guy was too timid. When he heard that Fang Ping had trampled a rank 9 to death on Earth, he was so scared that he came straight to beg for mercy. He was really shameless, of course. He still had to be a little shameless. For example, he made a paragon barrier and did not let anyone see it. Fang Ping said with a smile, "Let's put him aside first. Don't worry about the Pingshan region. It's not a bad thing to have one less opponent. He can run and won't fight to the death. It'll be hard to kill him too." Fang Ping did not want to fight him. Even if he could fight a paragon, it would probably be difficult for him to kill King Pingshan. That was because the other party did not have the intention to fight Fang Ping. If he saw Fang Ping, he would probably run away from a distance. Unless Fang Ping assassinated him and was confident of killing him in one hit. Otherwise, it was better not to kill him, lest he provoked this guy into hiding and retaliated against humans at any time. Guo Shengquan did not know whether to laugh or cry. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. There was such a person among the catacombs powerhouses. What an eye-opener. As he said that, Guo Shengquan thought for a while and said, "Oh, right, the day you guys returned, Magic City's passageway trembled slightly not long after. No one noticed anything at the time, but I did notice something different. Was it commanderly? If it was, I won't ask." To be able to avoid his rank 9's detection, the person must at least have the ability of a desperate realm. He did not know if Li Jun had returned secretly. He did not tell anyone about this. Now that he saw Fang Ping, he opened his mouth and told him. Fang Ping's expression changed slightly. The passageway trembled. Guo Shengquan did not notice anything unusual. Even a normal paragon could not do this. Even if it was him, if he entered the passageway now, he would not attract attention unless he concealed all his aura and took advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention to the passageway. Otherwise, he would not be able to hide it from Guo Shengquan. Fang Ping's expression darkened. Who had entered Earth? Li Jun had entered the heavenly cemetery. At that time, Li Jun was seriously injured. How could Heavenly King Jin leave him alone? At that time, many people did not enter. Before leaving, he scooped Li Jun up and brought him along. All the human paragons had entered. Not a single one was left. If that was the case, a powerhouse other than humans had entered Earth. Fang Ping's mood was heavy. The joy he had put on a show earlier had dissipated a lot. He did not say much. Seeing that Bei Gong Yen and the rest had arrived, Fang Ping casually tossed the two evil sect martial artists out and said in a low voice, "Lock them in the sky prison. Separate them." Bei Gong Yen quickly escorted the two to the sky prison. At this time, Tian Mu, Old Man Li, and the rest looked at Fang Ping in surprise. "That origin array of yours can really enhance everyone's ability? Kid, you should have said so earlier if you had the ability." "I heard that almost 10,000 people in Sun City have enhanced their ability out of thin air. You are too scary." Fang Ping needed time to fly back. By now, the news had spread. The whole world was talking about it. All the forces in the three realms, the stronger ones, had also received the news. It was too shocking. In one day, 10,000 people in Sun City had advanced. Of course, there were not many powerhouses. The strongest one was Zhang Peng, who had advanced. The rest, there were not many middle ranks. Most of them were ordinary people. There were not many powerhouses in Sun City either. In recent years, there were many low ranks. There were not many middle ranks. As he said that, Tian Mu gritted his teeth and said, "You kid, are you being discriminated against? I heard that most of the people who advanced this time were from Sun City. Did you do something? I say, don't be so narrow-minded. We're all humans. All right, even if you don't help those from abroad, you should still treat those from Sino Nation equally. You're not Sun City's commander now. You're the Minister of Heaven, the current leader of the humans." Fang Ping said with a headache, "There's no such thing. The array is connected to the local ley line. That's why it recognizes auras. It's like this after living in Sun City for a long time. Where did the discrimination come from? Setting up the array is very troublesome. It consumes a lot of energy. As for the other places, wait until I can set them up. Really? Of course. Tianmu nodded. This was good. Very quickly, he said, then I'll have to publish the news later to explain. Kid, you're not just representing yourself now. You're representing the entire human race. Be more careful next time. Don't damage your reputation. Fang Ping rolled his eyes. If you really care so much about my reputation, old man, shouldn't you call me minister instead? How shameful it is to call him brat. Everyone looked at each other and smiled. This guy would shine brightly if he was given a little sunshine. However, everyone was still sighing. Not only was this guy extremely powerful now, but he also had such tricks up his sleeve. If the entire human race rose under his leadership when old Zhang returned, his power would probably be seized. His reputation would not be as great as his. Fang Ping, on the other hand, did not care about these anymore. He glanced at his source world and grinned from ear to ear. It was overcrowded. It was really close to 10,000 people. Especially when Zhang Peng, that guy, entered, he immediately returned a lot of origin qi to Fang Ping. Not only that, Fang Ping felt that Zhang Peng's participation was much more powerful than old Zhang's and the rest's apparitions. This grandson was even more powerful than his grandfather. 10,000 people could probably open up a path of 10 meters a day. Zhang Peng, this guy, on the other hand, was equivalent to 1,000 people. He alone could help open up a path of 1 meter a day. In addition, Fang Ping was already opening up the path. Based on his calculations, he could probably open up a path of 12 meters a day. Fang Ping felt a little emotional. 360 meters a month. If that was the case, he would definitely enter the impasse realm within 3 months. The premise was that his Tao was unobstructed. Why would I need half a year? But after 999 meters, it's a little troublesome. I'm afraid it'll take some time. Even if it's 3 months, I'll definitely enter the peak within half a year. Fang Ping grimaced. If he entered the peak, it would not be comparable to the average peak. Right now, his vitality had exceeded 440,000 calories. It was only a little more than 100 meters now. Next, 200 meters, 300 meters, each time there would be an increase in the basic vitality. According to the calculation of the average rank 9's 5,000 calories, Fang Ping could increase it by 10,000 calories. In addition to my own honing, when I'm close to the peak, my basic vitality would probably be around 550,000 calories. In the impasse realm, other people can increase it by 50,000 calories. I'm afraid I can increase it by 100,000 calories. That would be 650,000 calories. When I reach the peak, give me another qualitative change. It'll be equivalent to 1,300,000 calories vitality. Give me another one. 3-fold increase. Even if I don't expand it in the future, in addition to combat techniques and divine weapons, he would not have known if he had not calculated, but he was shocked when he did. He was afraid that when he reached the peak, he would have a limit outburst of about 3,000 calories. This is still under the condition that I don't upgrade my combat techniques. Right now, I have the combat techniques deduction. In that case, after half a year, I'll at least have the strength of an emperor level. Moreover, I'll be one of the stronger ones. I'll be able to compete with the masters of the 10 great grotto heavens. Fang Ping was grinning from ear to ear. He quickly suppressed the joy in his heart. Low profile. He had to keep a low profile. Maybe he was stuck at 999 meters. Bah, jinx, impossible. Maybe when he reached the peak, his vitality would not change. Impossible too. Fang Ping quickly tossed these bad thoughts away. Impossible. He could definitely reach the peak without any obstacles. Moreover, there would be a qualitative change. Once he reached the peak, he would be a powerhouse among the emperor level. Maybe it would be faster. It would not even take half a year. After all, Sun City had only just started. Could he not expand further? For example, Magic City. He could try to expand it. Maybe in the end, I'll walk 1,000 meters a day. As Fang Ping thought about it, he was amused. His smile grew brighter. On the Heavens Plaza, more and more people gathered, more and more. Everyone looked at Tianmu, and the rest blankly. What did you guys do? Why did you make Minister Fang laugh like this? Did you give him candy? He was laughing so hard that he forgot everything else. Tianmu and the rest looked helpless. This was the peak. This was the human leader. Stop joking. Who, the F*CK, made the leader laugh like an idiot. The most important thing was this guy seemed to be fantasizing about something. Everyone did not know whether to laugh or cry. There was no one else. Old man Li could not stand it anymore. A sword gleam shot out from his hand, piercing Fang Ping's, but Fang Ping sobered up instantly. He looked at them, then at the people who had gathered around him. A hint of embarrassment flashed in his eyes. It was as if he had forgotten that he was outside. P.S. The third chapter has more than 20,000 words. It's not moving anymore. Everyone, give round face your blessings and get a medal. Chapter 10:24. Tian Division Martial Arts Practice Field. Fang Ping chatted with the crowd for a while, accepted some flattery, and left with the rank 9 martial artists. In the meeting room, Beigong Yan had returned from the imperial prison. At this moment, he was reporting the Heaven Division also suffered quite a few losses in the Battle of the King battlefield. The Gopher died in battle, and the Phoenix spirit separated from us after she came out. She probably ran away. The rank 9 Heaven Division is unscathed, but the 2 rank 8 Grandmasters Zhang Qi and Wang He died in the catacombs. In addition, all of the energy stones, energy liquids, and life essences of the Heaven Division have been used up. Their divine weapons have also suffered heavy losses. The few that have returned are all injured. This time, the Heaven Division's rank 9s came out in full force. A few rank 8s also went. This included the 2 rank 9 monsters. Fang Ping was worried about leaving them on Earth, so he brought them along as well. The Gopher had died in battle when the Heavenly Court army had encircled him, but the Phoenix spirit had survived until the end. However, the Phoenix spirit had run away after Kong Lingyuan left. 2 rank 9s were lost. 2 rank 8s had also died in the catacombs. In addition to the depletion of resources, although the Heaven Division did not seem to have suffered any losses, they had actually suffered great losses. Not only that, Chun Chi, who had previously joined the Tian Division, had now gone to the Eastern Guardian Mansion. The head of the Chun family had died in battle in the catacombs. The patriarch of the Chun family had been in charge of the Eastern Guard Mansion. Now that the Chun family's patriarch had left, Chen Yaozu had also left, and the patriarch had died in battle. Chen 7 had to go to the Eastern Guard Mansion. Now, other than Fang Ping, the Heaven Division only had 3 rank 9 martial artists, Tianmu, Beigong Yan, and Old Man Li. Fang Ping leaned back in his chair, not uttering a word. After a while, he asked, "Where are Su Bing and the others?" Previously, there were rank 9 powerhouses guarding the 6 grandmasters, but now they're all gone. Fang Ping said mildly, "I saw them in Sun City earlier. Do these fellows think that they don't have to report to the Heaven Division anymore since Absolute Peak is gone?" Towards the 6 grandmasters, Fang Ping did not hate them, but he did not trust them either. In this battle, none of the 6 great grandmasters, venerable sovereigns, and ultimate experts helped the humans. Of course, they did not attack the humans. That was because Zhang Tao and the others were powerful enough to fight to the death frightening them. Otherwise, it would be hard to say, "Where are dragon-changing skies people?" Fang Ping did not mention these people again. Instead, he asked about dragon transformation. She went back. Wang Ruobing said that she's going back to the sky beyond heaven to wait for dragon transformation. As Bei Gongyan spoke, he looked at Fang Ping and said, "Fortunately, Celestial Emperor Changrong is dead. There's still a top-notch powerhouse in dragon-changing sky, so it's not considered dangerous." Fang Ping was surprised. "There's another paragon in Dragon Transformation City." "Yes." Bei Gongyan nodded and said, "Previously, there were 3 supreme experts in Dragon Transformation Sky, but this time, 2 supreme experts have also joined the battle. There's still 1 remaining. So this time, it can't be that the other party covets the dragon change heavens and wants to seize power, right? This time, Heavenly Emperor Dragon Transformation entered the heavenly tomb. I'm afraid he might not be able to come out alive." Fang Ping never minded thinking of these people in a bad light. Dragon transformation into Heavenly Emperor was virtually certain death, unless he really had a lucky chance and made up for the consumption of longevity. Otherwise, the others might come out alive this time. Dragon transformation into Heavenly Emperor was virtually impossible. Dragon transformation sky, one of the 4 Brahma heavens. These sky beyond heaven could actually be regarded as demigod weapons. Living in sky beyond heaven, if sky beyond heaven was closed, it would be difficult for outsiders to find him. He could entertain himself and treat himself as a god of creation. Wang Ruobing only had rank 7 strength. Now, she seemed to be almost rank 8, but her strength was still too low. It was difficult to guarantee that the supreme expert in Dragon Transformation Sky would not be tempted. Old Manly thought for a while and said, "We can go and take a look when we have time. Dragon Transformation has helped us a lot this time. No matter what, we can't sit back and watch his daughter be bullied. Otherwise, who would dare to help humans in the future?" The enchanted island where Dragon Emperor is overseas. We can't intervene for now. As for Xuanda Grotto Heaven, Senior Xianhua has already returned. There seems to be a true god guarding mystic virtue realm. Senior Xianhua isn't too anxious. Quokang Mountain and Purple Cap Mountain. Now that Purple Cap Mountain is destroyed, there's no one at Quokang Mountain. Speaking of which, only Dragon Transformation Sky needs to be paid attention to. Fang Ping nodded slightly, then smiled and said, "Find a time to go there. Sky beyond heaven is still very important. Sky beyond heaven can connect the 2 realms, entering and exiting without a sound. Dragon Transformation Sky said before that if he dies in battle, Dragon Transformation Sky will be given to humans as long as his daughter is safe." They looked at him. Tianmu said hesitantly, "This isn't appropriate, right?" Did Fang Ping mean that he wanted to seize Dragon Transformation Sky? Fang Ping thought for a while and said, "It depends on the situation. If that true god wants to protect Dragon Transformation Sky and doesn't have any greedy intentions, then let them be. But then I have to fulfill my promise and take care of Wang Ruobing." They did not say anything else. Fang Ping continued, "If the 2 Grandmasters Wang Qinghai and Nan Yunping wake up, let them report to the Heavenly Division. Grandmaster Zheng, Tao, try to get them to the Heavenly Division. Right now, there aren't enough rank, 9 in the Heavenly Division. There are still too few people. On MCMAU's side, Guo Shengquan and the other 2 vice-chancellors will also come to the Heavenly Division in name only. Dean Lu Zhen will do the same. Okay, in the next few days, I've asked the various departments to collect some information. Is there any news?" Bei Gongyan said immediately, "There's some news, but we can't investigate some places. Instead, we've collected some information from Weiyu Mountain, Schwandegrado, and a few others. Having said that, Beigong Yin quickly passed a document in front of him to Fong Ping. Fong Ping read it for a while. Sometimes he frowned, and sometimes he fell into deep thought. This document was a list of the powerhouses of some forces in the three realms. It was not too complete, but it was enough. After reading for a while, Fong Ping said, announced to the public, on the 8th of March, we'll release the three realms ranking list. No, change its name. It'll be called the Heavenly Ranking List. They looked at him. Old Manly raised his eyebrows and said, the information on the ranking list is incomplete. You might want to use it to achieve some goals, but it might not be as you wish because it lacks the necessary credibility. It's not like the evil sect's three realms ranking list, which is still recognized by most powerhouses. It's fine. We'll take this opportunity to expose some hidden forces, especially the evil sect. Right now, other forces might not even notice them. Many people don't even know about the evil sect. Even if they know, they might not leak it to the public. Since the evil sect is preparing to rise from the ashes on Earth, I think they're quite ambitious. They might also make arrangements in other forces. If that's the case, then it's necessary to expose them to the public, lest humans become the strongest force in the eyes of others. We need to be strong so that people won't dare to attack us, but we can't be too strong so that we won't have opponents. If that's the case, it'll easily create a misconception that we're the biggest threat. After chatting with them for a while, Fong Ping tried to gift some origin energy to them. In the end, he realized that it worked. Old Man Li and the rest looked surprised too. Origin energy could be gifted. Even though Fong Ping had gifted it, they did not ask where it came from. Fong Ping had a lot of secrets. This was obvious to all. He did not even hide these secrets. It could not be helped. If he did not gift imperishable substances, more than half of the human powerhouses would have died long ago. Some secrets, if hidden, would be a catastrophe. Based on this, under normal circumstances, Fong Ping felt that it was not dangerous for him, so he would not hide it, especially now. Everyone even thought that he was the reincarnation of Heavenly Emperor Reverse, or the reincarnation of Heavenly Emperor. Of course, most people felt that the Heavenly Emperor was not very reliable. However, it was still possible for him to be the Heavenly Emperor Reverse. As for whether Old Wang and the rest believed it, there was no doubt. They did not think that Fong Ping was the Heavenly Emperor Reverse. This guy was a little different from them, a little special. A few of them even suspected that he was the reincarnation of an emperor. Even Zhang Tao might have such suspicions. However, no one raised this point. At least for now, Fong Ping was not standing on the opposite side of humanity. Origin energy was too expensive. 100,000 points for one cloud. Fong Ping was in urgent need of it, so he could not afford to gift too much. He gave each of them 1,000 clouds, which was worth 100 million points. This was also the limit he could give at the moment. Although he had a lot of wealth, Fong Ping had to keep it. There might be a battle soon, so he had to save it for emergencies. He was not in a hurry to interrogate the two evil sect martial artists. Fong Ping planned to leave them hanging for a few days. After walking out of the conference room, Fong Ping walked around Sky Island. Many people were missing from the Sky Division. Chun Yunqi entered the catacombs on the day he left and never returned. Fong Ping did not know where she was now. This was how martial artists were. It was inconvenient to communicate between the two worlds after entering the catacombs. Unless there was a huge commotion, no one would know if the person who entered was dead or alive. It had been less than a week since Chun Yunqi entered. It was normal that she did not come out. Chun Yunqi was considered to have entered for a short time. He had not seen a few of them for a long time. Zhao Xuemei, his classmate from the same sect, seemed like he had not seen her for a while. She had also entered the catacombs and had not returned until now. Fang Ping did not know when would be the next time he would meet her. Ever since Qin Fengqing took some imperishable substances from him, there was no news of him either. There was no trace of him at all. His former companions had now gone their separate ways. Each had their own martial arts path to take. Perhaps the next time they met would be farewell forever. Wandering from place to place, this term flashed across Fang Ping's mind. Most human martial artists were like this. After entering the catacombs, they did not know if they were dead or alive. Coming out was an accident. It was a pleasant surprise. If they did not come out, they were probably dead, and they had long been prepared for this. It's time to go home. Fang Ping let out a long sigh. There were some things that he did not have the ability to change, even if he wanted to. Humans won this time. The plan was a success, but it did not mean that humans were invincible. There were countless rank 9s in the catacombs. The overseas immortal islands were far away in the depths of the Forbidden Sea. The outland was hard to find, and the bounded zones had strong defenses. There were still some absolute powerhouses keeping watch. Humans were the ones pretending to be strong. On the big earth, Fang Ping was the strongest now. But no matter how strong he was not in a desperate situation. He could only use Li Jun to scare people. Otherwise, Earth might be a big fat piece of meat in the eyes of all parties now. But this is not something that can be done in the long run. I must quickly obtain the absolute combat strength. Fang Ping thought about this. Without anyone noticing, he stepped on the void and walked home. Fang family. Since the cat returned, the Fang family was also busy. The kitchen was almost nonstop. A certain cat could really eat. It insisted that it had lost more than 100,000 catties this time and had to eat it back. Fang Yuan did not feel that the cat had lost weight at all, but if the cat insisted on saying so, she could not refute it. The cat was incomparably strong. Fang Ping could not even tell how heavy it was. It insisted on eating it back, so he could only satisfy its desire. Sleep after eating, eat after sleeping, sleep while eating. This was the cat's happy life. As for becoming an emperor or the Great War, it had long been thrown to the back of its mind. Even if it sensed Fang Ping's return, the cat was still lying lazily on the lawn, basking in the sun. It did not plan to move at all. So what if it was back? Did it expect this cat to go play? Only dogs would do that. A cat would not do that. The cat was basking lazily in the sun. In midair, Fang Ping thought he was hallucinating. Did round face by a fat cat? Fang Ping murmured. The cat had gone into a trap. How could it possibly appear in the Fang family? Could it be that Fang Yuan felt that she had lost the cat, so she bought another one? But how could there be such a big cat? When the cat arrived at the Fang family, it maintained the size of a 7 or 8-year-old child. It was very big and very fat. How could a normal cat be so big and fat? Moreover, that lazy posture. Although normal cats were lazy, they were definitely not like the cat, where it did not even need to pant. Fang Ping watched for a while in midair. He even saw the cat on the ground, occasionally throwing snacks into its mouth. There was no escape. It was the cat. In the next moment, Fang Ping landed quickly. He pressed on the cat's head and said in shock, "Big cat, why are you here?" The cat's big eyes glanced at Fang Ping through the gaps between its fingers. It said lazily, "If I'm not here, where am I?" What a strange question. I'm hungry. Of course, I have to come here to eat and sleep. If I'm not here, am I supposed to be in the sea? As the cat spoke, it said lazily, "Liar, you said that when I'm back, you'll return my divine weapon and give me a lot of delicious food. There's also emperor-level bejeweled nectar and emperor-level fish. Anyway, there's a lot. Hurry up and give them to me. I'm drooling just thinking about it. Fong Ping was still in a daze. He rubbed its head hard and said in a daze, "You really came out? Liar, how did you come out? Where are old Zhang and the rest?" "I flew out." The cat was speechless. Could he have walked out? As for the fake emperor, who cares? Fong Ping took a deep breath and asked hurriedly, "When did you come back?" "Which day?" The cat shook its head and shook off his hand. Its tail wagged as it recalled. "After the fight. That night. Meow Wu. I came back at almost 8 o'clock. Meow Wu. I missed dinner." The cat was slightly dissatisfied. It muttered, "I missed dinner time. The television said that it's not good to have an irregular diet. It's bad for the stomach. That night, I ate my meal more than an hour late. No wonder I've been feeling unwell these few days." Fong Ping was about to break down. "You came back on the same day?" If that was the case, the vibration that Guo Shengquan discovered was caused by this cat. For a moment, Fong Ping did not know if he should be happy or disappointed. He was happy that this cat was back. Even if it did not make a move, he still had some confidence. The problem was, now that it was back, what about old Zhang and the rest? Now, they had really lost contact with each other. Fong Ping smiled bitterly. "You're back. How are we going to communicate with the fake sky grave?" "How would I know?" The cat said insincerely, "I don't want to live in a cage." Fong Ping smiled bitterly again. "Then why didn't you tell me that you're out?" "I'm hungry. We'll talk after I'm full." The cat said impatiently, "You owe me divine weapons and food." Fong Ping was embarrassed. He thought for a while and said, "How about exchanging snacks?" The cat looked at him in disdain. "Do you think I'm still the cat from back then? Snacks are very cheap. I know how to buy them online." He thought about it. The scammer was probably very poor and did not have any divine weapons to return. Forget it, he would owe it for now. The cat's eyes darted around. Its face showed its dissatisfaction. "You're lying to me again. How about this? You give me the origin energy, and I'll take it as interest. I won't chase you for your debt. Just give me 1,000 fish demons a day." Fong Ping looked at it and suddenly remembered something. He said with a faint smile, "You were the one who pretended to be a deity and wanted to cheat me of my origin energy, right?" "No." The cat denied it firmly. "I'm not that kind of cat. When I killed the Life King, I seemed to have lost something." "Did you do it?" "No." The cat put on an innocent face and said pitifully, "I didn't do it. Don't wrongly accuse me." Fong Ping was speechless. This cat was really shameless, pushing everything away. Fong Ping was too lazy to say anything more. He asked, "When you left, were old Zhang and the others okay? Also, when you left, didn't that mean there was an opening? What if the others ran out?" "They'll be fine." The cat said disapprovingly, "I blocked the opening. There's a big gong. When someone comes out, the big gong will ring. Can you still go in?" "Yes." The cat had just said that when it suddenly yawned and said, "I can't. I came back and slept. I forgot where it was. I can't find it. It was not going in. If it went in, those old men would hunt it down again. It was so annoying. It was not willing to go again." Fong Ping was helpless. If the cat did not want to go, there was no point in forcing it. Fong Ping was not in a hurry. There was no point in going. If it really wanted to go, it would not be too late to ask the cat. The man and the cat chatted for a while. Fong Ping suddenly turned his head to look outside the villa. Outside, a large truck had stopped. Roundy was pitifully carrying an incomparably huge wicker basket and was currently walking home. As it walked, it complained, "Big cat, how much longer do you want to eat? People are laughing at me. Many people ask me what restaurant I'm opening. Business is so good, I can sell so much in a day. The cat had eaten more than a restaurant's worth. It was also picky. It wanted to eat fresh food, not even frozen food. Feng Yuan had ordered takeaway for it 2 days ago, but the cat refused to eat it no matter what. It wanted to eat cooked food on the spot. As Feng Yuan was talking, she suddenly said in surprise, "Feng Ping, you're back." Feng Ping smiled and scolded, "Why didn't you call me when the cat was back?" "I called. You didn't pick up." Feng Yuan said gloomily, "Your phone is busy every day. How can I call you?" Feng Ping threw his phone into the storage space when he had nothing to do. He would only take it out to make calls when something happened. That was why he could call others, but it was almost impossible for others to get through to him. As she said that, Feng Yuan said gloomily, "Brother, why don't we hire a chef? Big Cat has a huge appetite. Mom and I are dying of exhaustion." The cat muttered, "No way. My brushing staff and chef have to be appointed by me. Without me, I won't eat the food made by others." "Forget it." Feng Yuan said disdainfully, "I don't even know who made those snacks. Didn't you eat them happily too? You didn't say you didn't want them either." The cat looked at her as if she was an idiot. After a while, it said, "That's why they're called snacks, not staple food. You're so stupid." Feng Yuan usually felt wronged and helpless after being looked down upon by this big fat cat. Now that Feng Ping was back, she suddenly felt emboldened. She said hurriedly, "Brother, help me beat it up. Big Cat bullies me every day." Feng Ping was speechless. "Beat it up? I'll be lucky if it doesn't beat me up. Can I beat this cat up? All right, let's cook. I'm a rank 5 martial artist after all." Feng Ping glanced at Feng Yuan. Feng Yuan had advanced to rank 5. However, after thinking about it, it was not surprising. This girl had broken through to rank 4 before this. It was not surprising that she had advanced to rank 5 after hanging out with the cat every day. She's a rank 5 martial artist after all. How could she die of exhaustion from cooking? As Feng Ping said that, he teased, "I see that you've also been eating and drinking. You've gained quite a bit of weight. Not bad." Feng Yuan's expression was unfriendly. "You're the one who's gained weight. I'm not fat at all." "Brother, I heard from outside that you've helped many people improve their abilities in Sun City. Why didn't you help me? I want to be a high-ranked Grandmaster too." Feng Yuan's face was full of anticipation. Grandmaster Feng Yuan. This title was not bad. "Big brother, can you set up your source formation at home? Yuan Ping Club in Sun City called me and said that many people have become stronger. They broke through all of a sudden." Feng Yuan was still babbling. The cat glanced at Feng Ping and scratched its head with its paw. "Became stronger? Many people? That sounds familiar." Before this, the cat did not pay much attention. Now, its big head was almost in Feng Ping's arms. Its paw poked him a few times, and it mumbled, "It seems like there are more people in your mini world. Are you on the Emperor path too?" Who was that? Old Man Dong Huang? Old Man West Emperor? Emperor God? Anyway, I forgot who. I think there's a mini world too. There are many people in it. The cat mumbled. Feng Ping raised his eyebrows slightly and asked, "Big Cat, you keep talking about the 9 emperors. Which 9 emperors are there?" 9 emperors. The cat looked up at the sky. After a while, it said, "The 4 old men in the north, south, east, and west. The Emperor God is also a white-bearded old man. He grows a lot of fruits at home. They're delicious. Oh, right, the Spirit Emperor likes to bathe. This time, we're going to the Spirit Emperor's bathing pool. And the 2 old men, the Earthly Emperor and the Emperor God." Feng Ping counted and said, "There are only 8 of them. Is the last one the Emperor God?" No, the heavenly realm doesn't have an emperor. The 9 emperors manage it together. The cat said lazily, "Who's the last one again? Let me think. Oh, it's the Beast Emperor. I think so. The monster's backer is the Beast Emperor." Big Dog used to pretend to be a demon. It also went to the Beast Emperor for help when it needed help. The cat said happily, "It should be the Beast Emperor." "It's so silly." Big Dog lied to it and said that we're all monsters. We're in the same group. We often go to its place to get free food and drinks. Fong Ping was speechless. What was the relationship between you and the heavenly dog? The emperors seemed to know all of them. They didn't do anything good either. They were either cheating this or stealing that. How did they survive until now? Chapter 10:25. After changing the topic, for a while, the cat forgot about the divine weapon. Fong Ping remained calm and did not mention it again. This cat was black-hearted. It must have stolen 1 billion wealth from him last time. Fong Ping could not stand it, and 1,000 fish demons a day. Unsurprisingly, Fong Ping now had some understanding of the market. Creating 1 fish demon would cost at least 10 clouds of origin energy. 10,000 clouds a day. Would that not cost 1 billion wealth? Fong Ping could not afford to keep this cat for 8 to 10 days. After chatting for a while, Fong Ping said in a low voice, "Big Cat, should we go to the fake sky cemetery and bring a few people out?" It would not work if all the humans ran away. However, bringing a few people out would not be too conspicuous. This way, the humans would have the capital. The cat muttered, "No, unless we bring that old man or the fake emperor. If we're not emperor rank, it's very dangerous to go through that entrance. We might die easily." Not everyone could go through that passageway without emperor rank strength. It was normal to be shattered by space when walking through the passageway created by the heavenly realm. Fong Ping frowned slightly. He suspected that the cat was looking for an excuse to slack off. The cat seemed to have sensed it. With a smack of its tail, Fong Ping's golden body trembled. Fong Ping was speechless. "All right, stop thinking about it." However, Fong Ping quickly asked, "Big Cat, where's Jiao?" "Jiao." The cat was stunned. Then it murmured, "Puppy? Yes, where's Puppy?" Fong Ping was stunned. "I'm asking you. Why are you asking me?" The cat's face was a little stiff. "I forgot. My memory is not good. It's not like you don't know. The puppy was thrown into the depths of the Forbidden Sea. After that, it left. Then, a series of events happened. It was exhausted. How could it still remember the puppy?" Fong Ping was speechless. This cat was really unreliable. If he were Jiao, he would have cried until he fainted. It was thrown into the depths of the Forbidden Sea and forgotten by people. Who could reason with it? The cat did not seem to have any intention of looking for Jiao. It muttered, "It shouldn't die, right? The more the puppy eats, the stronger it becomes. I seem to have sensed it scolding me. It shouldn't be dead. Forget it." It could vaguely sense something, but the Jiao was too weak. Separated by the world wall and the Forbidden Sea, it could not sense it clearly. However, since it could sense that Jiao was still alive, the old cat was too lazy to go to the Forbidden Ocean anymore. Let the puppy do whatever it wants. Fong Ping did not bother with the Jiao anymore. He had a lot of things to do now. It was good that the cat was back. Previously, Fong Ping was still thinking that since there were no powerhouses among humans, he could not easily enter the catacombs and leave Earth. Now, it seemed that although the cat didn't kill people, there was still hope for it to help drive away some people. Fong Ping did not plan to tell anyone about the cat's appearance. It was better to keep this cat as a trump card. For the next 2 days, Fong Ping did not go out much. At this moment, Fong Ping started planning and deducing combat techniques. He wanted to deduce a combat technique that was most suitable for him. The void-piercing sword art was the best technique he had learned, but the increase was only 3%. As for the manic explosion saber, this was the first time he had learned a middle-ranked combat technique. Up until now, it still gave him a 1% increase, which meant that its compatibility was quite high. Of course, the amplification of these combat techniques would not stack. The void-piercing sword art that Fong Ping was using now was the most suitable for him. However, Li Zhen's void-piercing sword art and Fong Ping's compatibility was not as high as he had imagined. Fong Ping also wanted to try out the effect of a combat technique deduction of 1 million per use. In the cultivation room, Fong Ping closed his eyes, immersing himself in the origin world. The deduction of combat techniques was the most suitable and the easiest in the origin world. Previously, when he used combat techniques in the origin world, it seemed to resonate with the origin Dao more easily. Today, Fong Ping's vitality was more than 400,000 calories. That was relative to a rank 9. His vitality essence was still more than 200,000 calories. This meant that his vitality units were more than 200,000 units. Recombining more than 200,000 units of vitality could be said to be a task that might not be completed even if he exhausted his entire life. Just 10 different numbers, arranged in random order, there were hundreds of thousands of combinations. When it came to 11, there were millions of combinations, hundreds of thousands of different combinations of numbers. Fong Ping did not even think about it. It would drive him crazy. Therefore, even if some ancient powerhouses were constantly optimizing their combat techniques, they might not be the ones that were most suitable for him. The so-called compatibility was only the combat technique that was currently the most effective for them to upgrade. Those old antiques, who had lived for close to 10,000 years, recombined a few thousand times a day. Even if they did it every day, there would only be about 1 million combinations in a year. If they tried it for 10,000 years, there would only be 10 billion combinations. But who would spend 10,000 years doing this? Of course, when you found a type of recombination that was suitable for you and optimized it, you could also eliminate most of the energy recombination methods that were not suitable for you. Fong Ping's maximum ability was not considered low. It exceeded a vitality outburst of 600,000 calories. However, his combat techniques did not increase greatly. His control was not high either. As for the low control, it had a certain relationship with the combat technique's compatibility. When the combat technique was suitable for you, the control of your strength would improve accordingly. These two actually complemented each other. In the origin world, at this moment, more than 200,000 units of vitality were arranged in an orderly manner. Fong Ping could not cut it into 1 calorie units. At this moment, his maximum ability could only cut his vitality into 3 calories units. More than 200,000 calories vitality was about 70,000 units of vitality. At this moment, Fong Ping used the system's ability, combat technique deduction. The moment he used the ability, Fong Ping seemed to see an invisible giant hand arranging the vitality. It was not a random arrangement. Fong Ping's origin world was shaking slowly, as if searching for a resonance point. The vitality was pulsating. It seemed to be cheering and jumping for joy. The giant hand also seemed to be sensing the fluctuations in the origin world, adapting to this kind of fluctuation method. Soon, the vitality was like a long dragon, dancing in the air, jumping and combining. These little red light spots were originally just a straight line. Now, they were combining into some patterns. Fong Ping saw the light spots combining into the shape of a sword. Soon, the sword shape broke apart and began to combine into the shape of a saber. Gradually, a blood-colored Changdao appeared in the origin world. Fong Ping frowned slightly. He felt that it did not seem to be very compatible with the origin world. However, at this moment, the system's energy seemed to be exhausted. The consumption of 1 million points was probably only for this long, or in other words, the effect. Fong Ping glanced at the system interface, not saying a word. Combat techniques, void piercing swordsmanship plus 3%, nameless saber technique plus 1%, manic explosion saber plus 1%, 1 million points, and you deduced a combat technique comparable to manic explosion saber for me? What a fraud! Fong Ping cursed under his breath. This was worth as much as 10 billion. And you deduced this for me? Wasn't this a gamble? Manic explosion saber was only a middle-ranked combat technique. Of course, its compatibility with Fong Ping was not low. That was why Fong Ping had been using it, and the effect was okay. To be able to increase his current strength by 1% was already incredible. However, the system deduced this level of combat techniques. Fong Ping was still extremely helpless. Again, looking at his remaining 7 billion wealth, Fong Ping gritted his teeth, made up his mind, and tried to deduce again. 7 billion. If he could deduce a very powerful combat technique by spending 700 million points, it would be worth it. 700 million points, 700 times. Deducing 700 combat techniques. Although it's not worth mentioning compared to the number of restructuring plans, it should still be something. Fong Ping performed the deduction for the second time, and very quickly he discovered the difference. The deduction was continuing. It was not starting from scratch. This meant that this was a continuous process. The system was constantly adjusting, looking for the energy combination that was most compatible with Fong Ping. If this went on, every deduction would be a process of perfection. If that's the case, in the end, maybe I'll deduce a combat technique that is most compatible with me, allowing my combat strength to increase tremendously. Fong Ping was slightly excited. He began to try again. 2 times, 3 times, 10 times, Fong Ping performed the deduction tirelessly in the source world. When he could not hold on any longer, he would consume some origin energy to replenish it. This time, he wanted to come up with a combat technique that was most suitable for him. It had to be at least slightly stronger than the void-piercing swordsmanship technique. After all, Li Zhen's swordsmanship belonged to someone else. To think that he, Fong Ping, had reached the peak of his strength, yet he did not have any combat techniques that he could use. The so-called 10,000 teachers leveling method was just a joke. Fong Ping was cultivating combat techniques in seclusion. At the same time, the days passed in the blink of an eye. March 7th, Heavenly Division. In the big conference room. At this moment, there were many people in the conference room. The 3 newbies still could not accept the reality. Sino Nation had changed. That kid, Fong Ping, was in charge now. Especially Wang Tringhai. When he saw the others entering the room, his face turned pale. He laughed bitterly. Why did you wake me up? I thought I had been asleep for hundreds of years. It's only been a few months. A few months. That kid has become the boss of Sino Nation. No, the boss of the world. I can't accept this. Old Manly said bluntly, cut the crap. To wake you guys up, I've spent God knows how much money. If you want to pass out, earn the money back first. If you can't earn it back, then sell your body to repay the debt. You talk too much. Wang Tringhai looked helpless. He heard that in order to save him, he had spent an extremely precious cat fruit. It was worth trillions. Even if he had to kill rank 9 demons to create divine weapons, he would have to kill 10 to 20 rank 9 beasts in one piece. If he wanted to create so many divine weapons, he might not be able to kill all of the beasts. He would have to double the number. In other words, he would have to kill 40 rank 9 beasts to repay the debt. 40 rank, 9 beasts. It would take more than 10 years to kill one beast in 3 months. That was if he was still alive. Tianmu laughed. Don't think too much. Those left here are all Fang Ping's debtors. Other than old Bei, who owes less, the few of us will work for the rest of our lives to repay the debt. Bei Gongyan laughed. I didn't borrow much. I only borrowed a rank 9 divine weapon and about 300 yuan worth of imperishable substance. All right, you can't pay it back anyway. Does it make a difference? Tianmu interrupted him directly. Even if he owed less, he had to be able to pay it back first. Tianmu stopped talking about this. He looked at the few people whose faces were still pale. He smiled. Since we're here, let's not think about anything else. Let's talk about the Myriad Worlds leaderboard that will be released tomorrow. The goal is simple. Make the evil sect a target for everyone. We can't let the human race be at a disadvantage. Otherwise, we'll become a target for everyone else. Wang Tringhai used to go to the Martial Arts Association to solve the leaderboard problem. He asked, does the human race need to hide their combat strength? No, Tianmu said, helplessly. How can there be any combat strength to hide? Those who should have come out have already come out. Then we'll do, according to their true strength. As for the evil sect, didn't you guys interrogate them before? There are a few known true gods. If you want the evil sect to become a target for everyone, then make up 1 or 2 emperor-level powerhouses. Didn't they say that the evil sect headquarters has 3 guardians and 8 guardians? The guardians are gone. Although the guardians don't know the situation, we can just make it up. Make up 1 or 2 emperor-level powerhouses and put them on the leaderboard. That will make them a target for everyone. Tianmu nodded slightly. He said, the evil sect has 8 guardians. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, and lightning. Taoist Wind Cloud is one of the 8 guardians. I don't know if this guy entered the sky's cemetery or hid. There's no trace of him until now. Before this, he only appeared as a mentality projection. This guy's strength isn't weak. Even Minister Zhang and the others didn't find his real body. How about we list him first? Everyone looked at each other and nodded. They had no objections. This time, Fang Ping wanted to make up the All Heavens and Myriad Realms leaderboard to target some people. Even if he did not, he had to say that he did. Everyone continued to discuss. Combining the information given by various parties, they began to arrange it one after another. It was not until the sky was about to brighten that everyone came up with a new leaderboard. Soon, Tianmu looked at Old Man Li and said, send it to Fang Ping. If there's no problem, we'll officially announce it today. We've also arranged for people in the catacombs. Once the leaderboard is out, it'll spread quickly in all the major outer regions. Old Man Li sighed. I don't think it's impressive enough. The leaderboard that the evil sect made before was set up directly in the Forbidden Sea. We're like selling newspapers. One look, and you can tell that we're lower than the evil sect. We don't have enough credibility. Tianmu was speechless. It was good enough that they had so many requirements. How did Li Changshen learn all this from Fang Ping now? He could not be bothered with him. Tianmu did not reply. He had a lot of things to do recently. Fang Ping gave them a lot of origin qi. He was now in the stage of rapid improvement. He had no time to waste. Old Man Li felt that it was not impressive enough. Fang Ping, who had just received the leaderboard, also felt that it was not impressive enough. It was not a matter of extravagance. The key was that if he made it sound like a rumor, no one would believe it. If he did it like this, would it not be a waste of effort? Therefore, Fang Ping found the cat very quickly. When this big cat almost smacked Fang Ping to death, Fang Ping finally got something. March 8th, Magic City Catacombs. Mount Royal Sea region. A man and a cat sneakily hid on the Imperial Sea Mountain. In the cat's paws, there was a mirror, the divine peeking mirror. The cat looked unhappy. It muttered, "Why? The divine peeking mirror is for watching shows. Why do I have to do this? It's so troublesome. It bothers me every day." Fong Ping chuckled. Just once. Just once is enough. Brother Cat, what's our relationship? This is very important. Do me a favor. I'll make something delicious for you later. The cat did not believe him at all. He owed the cat so many divine weapons and did not return them. He was a big liar indeed. However, since he was here, it was obvious that he had been persuaded. The cat stuck out its fat buttocks and fiddled with the divine peeking mirror. It muttered, "I used the sky bell to block the door. Otherwise, I could have just hit the bell. That's not what the divine peeking mirror is for. Also, the catacombs are so big. I can only project 3,000 li." Fong Ping grinned. "Enough. That's enough. It's not good if it's too far. 3,000 li is just right. I'll scare them. After I'm done, we'll run. Let them think that it's Li Zhen's doing." The cat continued to mutter. It had nothing good to say. The liar came to bother him every day. He wanted to move. The man and the cat chatted for a while. Soon, the cat stood on its hind legs. It tossed the divine peeking mirror toward the sky and muttered, "Just this once. Don't ask me to work next time. I'll lose tens of thousands of catties every time I work." In its dissatisfaction, the heavens and the earth roared. At this moment, a loud voice resounded in all directions. "The celestial cemetery has opened. Powerhouses shall enter and fight for the destiny of heaven. Now that the three realms are in chaos, the humans have sensed the chaos in the world. They specially set up the myriad realms ranking to warn everyone that the powerhouses are here. Do not start a war." As the voice fell, the sky turned blood red. It spread all the way, spreading out for thousands of li. At the same time, the energy in the catacombs converged. At this moment, in this 3,000 li radius between heaven and earth, there was suddenly endless energy condensing into words. The words were made up of energy. The energy flickered and even began to solidify. The commotion was huge. At this moment, the powerhouses within a radius of thousands of li looked up at the sky. In the distance, waves of aura fluctuated. The cat stuck out its tongue and panted for a while. Then it lifted Fong Ping, turned around, and ran. As it ran, it complained, "It's all your fault. Someone's coming again. There's an emperor-level powerhouse rushing over from the other side of the sea. Liar, big liar. You said there's no emperor level." The cat looked aggrieved. Another emperor level was coming. It was not like this cat was an emperor level. It was better to run. Emperor level. Fong Ping was stunned. There were really emperor level remnants. Whose emperor level was it? There was no time to think. The cat was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it broke into Magic City's passageway and disappeared into the catacombs. Not long after they left, a figure appeared at the edge of the Forbidden Sea. The protector who appeared at the Divine Sect's headquarters earlier looked at Mount Imperial Sea, which was thousands of li away. He frowned slightly. "Li Zhen? Where did he go? ***, I'm a step too late. Human world, land world. Or did he hide in misery again? The other party disappeared too quickly. He had just arrived, and there was nothing left. Where did he go?" He took a look at Magic City's passageway, not far away. He sensed for a while. It did not seem like there was much vibration. The protector frowned slightly. The vibration was still very big when the absolute being entered the passageway. The emperor level was even bigger. However, when the cat entered the passageway. The movement did not seem to be too big. The last time Guo Shengquan sensed it, it was only a slight vibration. The cat, the essence of the path, had not even reached the absolute peak. Under such circumstances, naturally, it would not cause too much vibration in the passageway. The protector sensed for a while, and instantly gave up on the idea of Li Zhen returning to the human world. If he really went to the human world, he would be able to sense it. And Li Zhen appeared here, and did not return to the human world. This further proved that the guy was hiding in the land world. "I'll catch you sooner or later." The middle-aged protector snorted coldly and looked up at the sky again. He frowned slightly, and his expression was not very good. "Feng Yun, did Li Zhen deliberately set up a trap, or are you really hiding in the land world?" The first person on the myriad heavens and realms list, Taoist Feng Yun. With all the experts gone, Taoist Feng Yun became the first. "I'm ranked second. Li Zhen is well informed. He actually knows that I haven't left. Could it be that there is a spy in the divine sect?" At this moment, the protector frowned slightly. His whereabouts could be considered to be hidden. Except for a few divine masters, no one else knew that he was still in the land world. But now the human race actually ranked him second. This made the protector somewhat suspicious. Did someone among the divine masters leak his existence? This was not a good thing. Moreover, he was not even the first. If Li Zhen was killed, he might be linked to him. Troublesome. The middle-aged protector cursed in a low voice and quickly disappeared from the taboo sea. A peerless powerhouse had already rushed over. Fang Ping and the others did not know that it was a coincidence that they could match the random protector on the ranking list. On this day, everyone sensed the change. It was a huge commotion. On this day, all the powerhouses knew that Fang Ping had created the All-Heaven and 10,000 Realms ranking. There was no way he wouldn't know that in the 3,000-kilometer area, the names of the people were still there. If no one destroyed it, it would probably be able to stay there for a few years. Monarch ranking. First place, Taoist Feng Yun, Protector Feng of the Divine Sect, second place. Thunder Emperor, Thunder Protector of the Divine Sect, third place. Nether King Li Zhen, Commander of the Human Race Military Department Peerless Talents, ranking. First place, Skyalm, Guardian Demon Plant of the Celestial Plants Royal Court. Second place, Crazy Taoist, Nameless, once appeared outside the Heavenly Tomb, but was unable to enter. Third place, Qinghua, Wangwu Mountain Disciple, fourth place. Jiang Yu, Elder Wei Yushan, fifth place. Supreme Di Kuang, one of the gods of the Divine Sect, number 18. Mu Yen, Wuji Tan Tian Vow Elder No. 19. Ji Hong, Master of Destiny Royal Court, number 22. Huai King Huaying, Servant of Three Surnames No. 23. Gu Chuan, Right Divine General of Heavenly Plants Royal Court, number 27. King Pingshan, Destiny Royal Court No. 28. Fang Ping, Human Race Tian Division, Minister Rank, 9 ranking, number 1, Li Changsheng, Human No. 2. Ling Xiao, Wang Wu Mountain No. 3. Su Yunfei, Human No. 4. Yu Wu Hua, Immortal Seeking Island No. 5. Luo Yu, Boundless Mountain No. 6. Jiang Kuei, Wei Yushan No. 7. Wu Qi, Water Demon No. 8. Demon Swordsman, Imperial Sea Mountain No. 9. Wu Quishan, Human No. 10. Wang Hanyue, Dragon Transformation No. 11. Yu Xiuzi, Yu Long Tian. The ranking this time listed 3 Emperor ranks and 28 Paragons. The 3 Emperor ranks were actually made up by Fang Ping and the rest, including Li Zhen. Even if Li Zhen really stayed, he did not have the strength of an Emperor rank. However, Fang Ping still listed Li Zhen. 28 Paragons. This was also the Paragons that Fang Ping's side had received from the intelligence. Of course, The addition of a few divine sect gods was also made up. As for whether there were any, who knew? On the catacombs side, the intelligence sent by the Sky Plant's royal court showed that the heavenly elm guardian did not leave. The right god general had actually returned to the royal court and was supporting Li Yi to take over the royal court. King Huai and Fang Ping had fought before. As for Jihong's appearance, it was not because Jihong had really appeared, nor was it because Fang Ping was suppressing Ji Yao. It was because Jihong really did not leave. That fellow did not go to the celestial cemetery. Fang Ping did not know where he was now. In any case, it was right that he did not go to the celestial cemetery. That day, the true God ranking list that stretched endlessly had now turned into the peerless ranking. There were only these 20 or so people on the ranking list. On the Emperor ranking list, there used to be dozens of powerhouses. Now, there were only 3. As for the rank 9 ranking, the changes were even greater. Boundless Mountain's Luo, you really did not die, but he was seriously injured. This time, he escaped death and returned to Boundless Mountain. As for Qi Huanyu, who was previously ranked first, and Zhao Xingwu, who was ranked second at this time, all of them had disappeared. Some people died. Some people advanced to the paragons. Once this ranking list was released, everyone was shocked. The divine sect actually had 2 emperor rank existences. Not only that, but there were also many paragons. This made everyone more vigilant. Of course, the most depressed one was King Huai. On that day, this ranking list condensed between heaven and earth disappeared. There was no doubt who did it. There was no one else other than King Huai. Other people's suffixes introduced the origin of their forces. He was a slave of 3 surnames. King Huai almost went to Earth to fight with Fang Ping. He did not need to guess to know that this was Fang Ping's doing. But King Huai did not dare. Li Jun was here. He believed it. There was no way he could not believe it. The movement this time was too big. It was not something Fang Ping could do. There was no one else other than Li Jun. Not only did he believe it, but the moment the ranking list was released, everyone believed it. The Netherworld King did not leave. If he left, no human could create a big movement that affected 3,000 miles. In this way, Fang Ping's lie to deceive the whole world had become the truth. P.S. Only 2 chapters have been updated today. I'm stuck. Even if I continue to update, it will only be 1 chapter. Slow down a little. Let me organize my thoughts. Chapter 10:26. As soon as the Myriad Heavens and Realms leaderboard came out, the various powers became more and more clear. The divine sect was the strongest. The second was not the humans, but the Heavenly Plant's royal court. There were a few peak-level experts from the Heavenly Plant's royal court who had not left, including the right divine general. On the human side, if Li Jun was not around and Fang Ping was the only one at the bottom of the peerless talent list, the threat would not be too great. However, with the existence of Li Jun, an emperor-ranked expert, even if the ranking list had purposely raised Li Jun's strength, humans were still a force to be reckoned with. The 3 realms were in turmoil once more. After Fang Ping returned to the human world from the catacombs, he continued his closed-door cultivation. In the source world, the deduction of combat techniques continued. As the deduction continued, the new battle strategy became more and more complete. From the initial 1% increase, it had now surpassed the void-piercing sword technique. Within the source world, the image formed by the combination of qi and blood was getting clearer and clearer. At this moment, Fang Ping somewhat understood where old Zhang's Book of Great Tao and Teaching Pointer came from. That was a manifestation of energy after their battle tactics had been reorganized. Saber, the combined form of Fang Ping's vitality, was a saber. It was no longer illusory, but very clear. This saber was somewhat similar to the Zamadeo he had obtained from Zhang Dingnan. With such a combination of energy, will the explosive power be even greater? The combination methods in the source world were all illusory. Fang Ping memorized this combination method and exited the source world. The real world, Fang Ping silently recalled the combination method from before. His vitality began to condense like a blood-red dragon, and his vitality began to surge. More than 200,000 portions of blood qi surged within his body and began to reconstruct itself. The first reorganization was not as simple as it seemed. What the system provided was actually just a template. How to combine them and use them rationally would depend on Fang Ping himself. Interesting. My own reorganization is also a process of power control. Sure enough, there's no such thing as a free lunch. However, it's much easier for me to imitate others. A beam of vitality light rose from Fang Ping's hand, its shape changing continuously. Sticks, long sabers, long swords. Fang Ping kept changing the appearance of his vitality. The first time was also a solidification process. Practice makes perfect. If he had to constantly reorganize his energy during a battle, he would have been beaten to death long ago. Fang Ping was fully focused. His vitality had been greatly depleted, and he kept using his wealth to replenish it. The entire training room was dyed blood red. The aura on Fang Ping's body was also getting fiercer and fiercer. The blood-red saber in his hand gradually took shape. Divine weapon. At this moment, Fang Ping suddenly felt something. Experts were all forging their own divine weapons, forging the most suitable divine weapons for themselves. Why? The energy that I've reassembled is, after all, just energy. I should merge it with the divine weapon and form a weapon that suits me the best. When the energy and the divine weapon become one, I should be able to unleash even greater power. It seems like it's easier to split my vitality as I reorganize it with my battle technique. At this moment, Fang Ping looked at the blood-colored Changdao that had formed in front of him. Suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. His vitality, which was originally about 3 calories per portion, was now being slowly stripped away. As he split his qi and blood, the long saber seemed to become more condensed. The long saber, which was made up of more than 70,000 portions of blood essence, had become extremely stable. However, this was 3 calories per copy. When Fang Ping slowly began to split it, 80,000 copies, 90,000 copies, the long saber became even more stable and sharp. All right, that's great. Fang Ping could not hide his joy. Maybe I can take the opportunity to split it into 1 card. Fang Ping did as he thought of it. He had just begun to disassemble it when the Changdao suddenly became extremely unstable. Fang Ping's expression changed. This would not do. He did not have the control to forcefully split it. His strength was slightly out of control. Oh no, the energy is going out of control. At this moment, Fang Ping suddenly shouted, "Those outside, go away." As soon as he finished speaking, Fang Ping soared into the sky and broke through the cultivation room's roof. In the next moment, his aura erupted and his saber slashed toward the sky. This was on Sky Island. At this moment, everyone saw an unforgettable scene. The sky was broken. The sky was slashed in half by Fang Ping's saber. An incomparably huge crack appeared in the sky, spanning a distance of thousands of meters. Below, the Heaven Division members retreated one after another. Wang Qinghai and the rest looked at Fang Ping in the sky, speechless for a long time. This guy, what was he doing? Wang Qinghai glanced at Tianmu and asked in a low voice, "How many Cal outbursts?" Slashing the void did not require much on Earth. About 100,000 calories would do, of course. As Earth's energy recovered, it seemed like it was changing toward the catacombs. He was afraid that it would require about 150,000 calories in the end. There were still many who could slash the first heaven. However, things were different now than in the past. Slashing the first heaven made it difficult to see the second heaven. It was difficult for the weak to judge the strength of powerhouses who were much stronger than themselves. Fong Ping slashed the first heaven with one slash. Wang Qinghai only felt that the explosive power was terrifyingly strong. At least to kill him, one slash was more than enough. Tianmu frowned slightly. It's really hard to estimate. However, Fong Ping is indeed much stronger than before. How far has this guy gone in his origin Dao? Many people actually knew that Fong Ping had not reached the apex. Claiming that he had the apex combat strength was because his foundation was too high. Last time, Fong Ping claimed that he had walked 800 meters in his origin Dao. Now that he was announcing to the public that he had the apex combat strength, the powerhouses who knew guessed that Fong Ping's origin Dao might have already reached the apex. Perhaps he was only one step away from the apex. Hence, the current Fong Ping could be regarded as an apex. As for advancing to the apex, it was not that simple. According to the speculations of the powerhouses outside, if Fong Ping really advanced to the apex, his vitality could change qualitatively. Then, Fong Ping might become a top-notch powerhouse among the apex. Vitality below 2 million calories was the desperation realm. If Fong Ping advanced, his vitality might exceed 1 million cal. As for Emperor level, with the strength that Fong Ping displayed now, he was not there yet. However, the gap between 999 meters and 1,000 meters was something that every powerhouse who became an apex powerhouse knew how difficult it was. You don't even know how far he has walked. Wang Qinghai was a little surprised. He whispered, "Could it be that this guy has already walked 1,000 meters? How can he be that fast?" Tianmu shook his head. He did not think that Fong Ping was that fast. How many days had it been since Fong Ping advanced to rank 9? Moreover, Fong Ping, something was not right. According to his private conversation with Li Changsheng, Fong Ping's origin Dao might not be far. It could not be helped. Fong Ping was so powerful in rank 8. His golden body was even at the 9th level and was close to peak. However, according to Li Changsheng, the strength of this kid's golden body now was only slightly stronger than his. It was not much stronger. If he had really gone far, Fong Ping's golden body should be stronger than it was now. Tianmu thought about it in his heart. He did not say much. Whether Fong Ping had really gone far or made a false report, it did not matter. It was not a good thing to be too monstrous. Under everyone's shocked gaze, Fong Ping smiled and said, "Recently I felt something. I'm deducing combat techniques. Everyone, try to stay away from me so that you won't be affected." Deducing combat techniques. Everyone was even more surprised. What was a monstrous? This was it. Everyone could really understand why Fong Ping had not created his own combat techniques. He had too many things to do. Moreover, his martial arts improved rapidly. He still had to handle some official business. At this time, it was already hard to accept that Fong Ping could cultivate martial arts to this stage. However, now, Fong Ping actually had the time to create his own combat techniques. If he was not a monstrous genius, then no one deserved to be called a monstrous genius. After the shock, everyone was delighted. Some of the young martial artists who joined the Heaven Division shouted, "Minister, I hope that you create the strongest combat technique and sweep across the 3 realms." "Ha ha ha, thank you for your blessings." Fong Ping laughed loudly and said quickly, "Everyone, disperse. I'll continue deducing. When the people from the various divisions come to Magic City, then inform me For a meeting. On the day he came out of the catacombs, he asked everyone to come to Magic City 10 days later to discuss the counterattack. Time was almost up. Nowadays, time was precious. Fong Ping did not want to waste it. Without waiting for anyone to say anything, Fong Ping's figure flashed and disappeared in midair. Inside the dilapidated cultivation room, Fong Ping checked his data panel again. A smile appeared on his face. Wealth, 9 billion points. Vitality, 450,000 calories, 450,000 calories. Mentality, 10,300 hertz, 10,455 hertz to 10,300 hertz. Shave, origin, vertical 149 meters, increase 14, 9%. Horizontal 3,008 meters, increase 38%. Combat techniques, nameless saber technique, plus 6%. Void piercing swordsmanship, plus 3%. Manic explosion saber, plus 1%. Combat technique combination deduction. 1 million points / time origin energy conversion. 100,000 points / 1 cloud energy shield. 1 point / minute, plus aura simulation. 10 points / minute, plus origin. Detailed analysis. 10 to 100 million points / time power control. 74% limit outburst. 532,100 cal / 719800 cal. At this moment, Fong Ping's limit had increased from 630,000 calories a few days ago to close to 720,000 calories. As for outburst, it had increased by more than 100,000 calories. How many days had it been? The speed of improvement was so fast that Fong Ping was shocked. His origin path was improving every day. His physique toughness was also increasing. Fong Ping's golden body toughness previously had not reached its peak. He did not lack imperishable substances. Under constant honing, his vitality was also increasing. Based on the 400,000 calories vitality of a peak 9th refinement golden body, breaking through to rank 9 and strengthening by 10%, that would be 440,000 calories. Fong Ping had already walked 100 meters. Others could increase their vitality by 5,000 calories. He was the same as others, doubling it by 10,000 calories. At this moment, his vitality of 450,000 calories might not be his current limit. The benefits that a 9th refinement golden body brought to Fong Ping were not only the strengthening of his physique. He did not walk a section of the origin path, so his increase should be higher than others. I think if I walk 100 meters, I'll increase my vitality a little more. It's just that my physique hasn't reached its limit yet, so it's covered up. Fong Ping grinned. His strength control was as high as 74%. The combat techniques deduction this time allowed him to gain a stage. Previously, he was only at 65%. Based on his previous speed, he might need a few months to reach this stage. My limit is close to 720,000 calories. This means that I'm not far from the true pinnacle. Weak pinnacle, the weakest kind, 800,000 calories. It was not that this kind of pinnacle did not exist. In fact, there were many of them. In the catacombs and humans, most of the pinnacle people actually started as weak pinnacles. If the other party's strength control was slightly lower and their combat techniques were rubbish, they would probably be about the same as Fong Ping. As for Fong Ping, his origin path increased by more than 10 meters every day. It was at least a 1% increase every day. Fong Ping's basic vitality was as high as 450,000 calories. His daily limit increase was at least 5,000 calories. Based on this calculation, in about 10 days, Fong Ping would truly possess the combat strength of a weak pinnacle. Nameless saber technique. Nameless saber technique doesn't sound good. How about 10,000 master square Ping saber? Fong Ping mumbled. Isn't this name too long? Every combat techniques deduction was actually strengthening and optimizing this nameless saber technique. Therefore, Fong Ping would not change his combat techniques in the future. It would most likely still be the optimization of this saber technique. Emperor Destroyer Saber. Isn't it too domineering? Fong Ping mumbled. Emperor Destroyer was too brutal. If there were still emperors alive and heard this name, they would come to kill him right now. My limit is close to 720,000 calories. I'm not counting the artifact. Fong Ping raised his eyebrows. He had the God-slaying saber. Actually, the God-slaying saber had an increase too. It was just that the system did not calculate it. Perhaps the increase of the artifact was not stable, or perhaps the system could not calculate the increase of the artifact. The God-slaying saber gave Fong Ping a considerable increase. Fong Ping calculated it himself, not counting the uniqueness of slaying origin path, just the increase in strength alone. The God-slaying saber he controlled now should be at least 3%, right? Then he would have to add more than 10,000 cal to it. His own limit was probably close to 750,000 calories. God-slaying saber. Why don't I call it God-slaying saber technique? Slay those true gods. Fong Ping rubbed his chin. He had to take things one step at a time. Emperor Destroyer was still too far away for him now. At this moment, it was enough to slay a god. There are still emperor-level existences in the 3 realms. I'll keep a low profile. I won't call it Emperor Destroyer anymore. Fong Ping felt that he was low profile enough. He did not even call it Emperor Destroyer. Zhang Dingnan used to have this kind of saber technique, but he was too weak. He ignored Emperor level. He was too eye-catching. If he called it Emperor Destroyer, he would be targeted by Emperor level easily. God-slaying saber technique and God Destroyer. Just right. Maybe I can continue to optimize combat techniques and increase my strength control. Fong Ping looked at the remaining 9 billion wealth and pondered for a while. This time, the consumption was not small. The deduction of combat techniques did not use up to 700 million wealth. However, his origin world was expanding recently. Fong Ping used up a lot of origin chi. As Sun City gradually merged into the origin world, Fong Ping's origin world that was 10 meters in diameter before was now almost 13 meters in diameter. The origin world was growing. However, it also needed money to grow. It would not do if there was no origin chi to replenish it. As for the phantoms that merged with it, they were only responsible for helping to expand the origin path. They were not responsible for helping to expand the origin world. If I want to expand to the extent of Tsang Mao, even billions and trillions of wealth points might not be enough. I'm afraid this cat has cheated, kidnapped, and stolen a lot. Fong Ping criticized silently. Tsang Mao must have eaten a lot of good stuff, the kind that contained origin chi. Otherwise, even if it really lived for 10,000 years, Fong Ping felt that he might not be able to make the origin world look like that. A diameter close to 1,000 meters. That was really scary. The more the circular origin world expanded outwards, the larger the area needed to be expanded. This was not something that could be reflected by the diameter. Tsang Mao is actually also rank 9. This cat is truly invincible among its peers. Who would dare to believe that Tsang Mao was also rank 9? A cat with the strength of a near-emperor level, a cat that could race with heavenly king powerhouses, was only rank 9. Who would believe that? Even Fong Ping found it hard to imagine. When this cat's origin path really reached 1,000 meters, would there also be a qualitative change? If there was a qualitative change once or countless times, one had to know that Tsang Mao had countless paths. Once it reached 1,000 meters, it would become 1,000 meters long at the same time. It would not be like others who walked the second path. That was a matter for the later stages. Fong Ping shook his head, not daring to think about it. It was fine if there was a qualitative change once. If there was a qualitative change countless times, then this cat would really be invincible. Just when Fong Ping was thinking about Song Mao, Fong family courtyard, Song Mao rolled over, then a little unhappy. It lay on the ground, looked at Fong Yuan and said, "Call the swindler. Don't think about me every day, or else this cat will move." The swindler's origin world was getting bigger and bigger, and the degree of overlap with it was getting higher and higher. Both of them were close to each other. Now, when this fellow thought about it, it could sense it. It was very annoying. Fong Yuan ignored it. While waving the Changdao, he panted and said, "Big cat, do you think I'm swinging my saber like this? Why are you using a saber?" Song Mao was bored out of his mind. He had also forgotten his impatience earlier. He yawned and said, "Isn't using a saber more suitable for you? Use a sword or use a ribbon." Song Mao muttered to himself, a little uncertain. "If you want to use a sword, this cat knows a lot of powerful combat techniques. Use a ribbon." Spirit Emperor used a ribbon in the past. It was very powerful. With a whoosh, it entangled the person. "No, a whip works too." Song Mao muttered, "With a clatter, the whip is very powerful. But if I want to use a saber, my brother will use a saber." "Idiot!" Song Mao scolded. He yawned again and said, "You use whatever the swindler uses. Aren't you stupid? Why don't you use your claws?" Big Dog used to use claws. It was very powerful too. Fong Yuan's face darkened. "You're the one using claws." "No, this cat already has claws." However, she was indeed not used to using a saber. At this moment, she hurriedly squatted down and asked, "Big cat, why don't I learn swordsmanship? My teacher uses swords too, but I don't have a good weapon. Don't you have a sky destroyer? Lend me your chin first." Song Mao's fat face trembled. "Little chubby face is not a good person. I'll learn from the swindler and be called Little Swindler from now on." "How dare you cheat me of my sky destroyer?" The more Song Mao thought about it, the sadder he became. His divine weapon seemed to be almost gone. The 9 Emperor's seal was gone. The stone tablet was gone. The god-slaying saber was gone. The little hoe was gone. The sky bell was gone. The heaven-trapping bell was gone. Song Mao really wanted to cry. Not only that, in order to set up the trap this time, he even threw his big pot into it. Now, all that was left was the fishing rod, the divine peaking mirror, and the sky destroyer sword. The sky destroyer sword was used to cut fish, the fishing rod was used to catch fish, and the divine peaking mirror was used to watch the show. Now, Little Fatty Face was trying to trick his sky destroyer sword. His conscience was black. Song Mao had no more love in life. He covered his eyes with his paws and drooped his ears, pretending to be asleep. Fong Yuan picked up his ears and said with a smile, "Big cat, you're a cat, not a dog. Cats don't droop their ears." Song Mao ignored her and spouted nonsense. "Big dogs don't droop their ears." "Who said dogs do? Who said cats don't? I'm the #1 cat in the 3 realms. Whatever I do is right." Seeing that it was ignoring her, Fong Yuan giggled and said, "Big cat, why don't we eat beef? Also, don't you have cabbage? Let's eat it together?" "No." Song Mao refused. "I don't have much left. The stupid cow has fallen into the trap. If it doesn't want to go now, there will be no more fresh beef. As for the cabbage, it was the only one left since the celestial realm was destroyed. Song Mao could not bear to eat it now. He had saved it for almost 10,000 years. Every time he was hungry, he would eat it to satisfy his craving. Beef and cabbage stew should at least be paired with an emperor-grade beverage. There was no beverage, so he did not want to eat it. Eat it, not eating. Beef and cabbage stew, it's delicious. No, no. Song Mao refused firmly, but soon wavered. I want to eat it. I can eat it, but you have to get the swindler to get me an emperor-grade beverage, or I won't eat it. This is the best ingredient after the celestial realm is destroyed. It's best to add a fish head. There's a big fish, a big one. Can you get the swindler to help me catch the fish? The so-called big fish referred to the sea guardian. The 3 guardians were older than the 8 kings. Song Mao had his eyes on the big fish before, but he really could not eat it. Even the heavenly dog said it was troublesome and difficult to eat it. Otherwise, he would have eaten the big fish long ago. Big fish. Fang Yuan understood. She would tell Big Brother later. She had been eyeing Song Mao's beef and cabbage for a long time. The emperor's cabbage was said to be the best kind. Song Mao said it was the best one back then, and he was reluctant to eat it even now. It must be something good. She was fantasizing, and Song Mao was also drooling. He really wanted to eat it. If the swindler could really get the big fish to eat, Song Mao would really be drooling. That fish was delicious. Song Mao had secretly eaten some of Big Fish's small fish in the past, and just thinking about it made him yearn for it. As he thought about it, he felt a little sad. Big Dog was dead, and there was no delicious food. When Big Dog was alive, although he often bullied him, he could eat a lot of delicious food. At that time, he ate all the delicacies in the 3 realms. I was also glorious in the past, Song Mao murmured. The glorious days were gone forever. Now, even when eating cabbage, he would think that there would be no more in the future. It was really sad. Song Mao rolled a little and yawned. Forget about sleeping, I'll eat some fish head demon. He kind of missed Big Dog. Little Sword had changed. The swindler was so weak, and he lied to the cat every day. Little Chubby Face was even weaker. The more he thought about it, the more uncomfortable he felt. Big Dog, you're dead, and you're bullying a cat. Song Mao murmured, a little sad. Big Dog was still alive. How could the son of the earthly sovereign dare to kill him? Meow, a cat's sad meow came into his ears. Fang Yuan originally wanted to continue to harass Song Mao, but when she heard this meow, she suddenly felt sad for no reason and retracted her hand. Big Cat seemed to have a story too. Jiutian Shenhuang. Chapter 1027. March 12th. 10 days had passed since Fang Ping left the catacombs. 7 days had passed since Sun City's anomaly. When Fang Ping exited the catacombs, he requested for all parties to gather in Magic City 10 days later. As the current number 1 human, Li Zhen's whereabouts were still unknown. Everyone gave him face and arrived in Magic City on this day. Shanghai Governor's Office. This time, the conference was held in the Governor's Office of Shanghai. This was also the highest summit conference of the human race. Of course, the humans were not the only ones who came. In the domain, Mount Wanwu, Weiyu Mountain, and the Xuanda Paradise had received invitations. On the Grand Master's side, the Dragon Change Sky, the Jade High Sky, the Mysterious Brightness Sky, the Observant Brightness Sky, the Limitless Sky, and the Thoughtless Sky had also received the invitation. There were also the 6 Holy Lands and 19 other countries. The scale of the meeting was similar to the one Fang Ping had convened last time, but the meaning was completely different. Not only that, Fang Ping had also sent invitations to the 4 major immortal islands of the overseas immortal islands: Boundless Mountain, Immortal Inquisition Island, Water Power Clan, and Dragon Island. As for whether they would come or not, Fang Ping could not be bothered. Magic City Catacombs. The new cat palace had already taken shape, but a certain cat that was going to live in the cat palace that day had already forgotten about it. It passed by the cat palace a few times, but it didn't even look at it. The cat-shaped building was huge and was built according to the specifications of a city. At this moment, a group of people flew over from the Forbidden Sea. From afar, The humans aimed their energy cannons at these people. The martial artists stationed in the city all became vigilant. In the past, humans could only defend the north. The north was where the catacombs powerhouses were, but now they had to guard the south as well. The south led directly to the Forbidden Sea. On the southern city wall, Guashengquan shouted, "Who goes there?" "Immortal-seeking island, moonless." A crisp voice rang out. Yu Wuhua was full of immortal qi, like a fairy descending to the mortal world. Beside him, a huge water buffalo also said in a muffled voice, "The water god race, Wu Qi, that fellow Fang Ping, invited us here." Beside them, Luo Yu's face was pale, but he did not say anything. Last time in the king battlefield, his golden body had been destroyed by Gu Qing and the others. However, a wisp of his spiritual energy had survived, and he had been lucky enough to escape. However, his injuries were not light, and he had only just recovered his golden body. This time, the Boundless Mountain's heavenly monarch Boundless had also entered the Sky Tomb to search for treasures. The Boundless Mountain used to be the #1 immortal island in the Endless Sea. The Boundless Mountain's heavenly monarch was extremely powerful, and his ranking on the monarch ranking was extremely high. Fang Ping had invited all parties for a meeting. Luo Yu had not planned to attend initially, but now he had no choice but to attend. Hearing them introduce themselves, Guashengquan said loudly, "So, you are the distinguished guests of the overseas immortal islands. Esteemed guests, please take a rest in the city. We will immediately inform Minister Fang to send someone to welcome you." He said he was here to welcome them, but Yu Wuhua and the others knew what he meant. He was just informing Fang Ping and the others in advance to be on guard. They didn't care. While flying in the sky, Yu Wuhua said, "Brother Luo, the strength of the human realm is getting stronger and stronger. Brother Luo, please restrain yourself." Luo Yu frowned slightly and said calmly, "Wuhua, you don't have to do this. Everyone in the world came for benefits. As long as there were benefits, everyone would scramble for it. If there are no benefits, Fang Ping won't do it for free. The overseas immortal islands aren't weaker than any other party, so there's no need for us to bow down to anyone." He realized that since the end of the last battle, the overseas immortal islands were somewhat different. The venerable emperors had all left, and there were not many true gods left. As the force closest to the celestial cemetery, a large number of true gods from the overseas immortal islands had left. It was said that one of the 33 overseas immortal islands had been destroyed, and no one had been found alive until now. Now, there were only 32 immortal islands left, but there were probably less than 10 peerless powerhouses left. There were also very few peerless powerhouses on the list of heavens and realms that the human realm had created. There weren't even as many as the grandmasters. Because the powerhouses had left, the few remaining peerless powerhouses were also in closed-door training. Yu Wuhua and the others held the power of the various islands, but they were extremely afraid of the human realm. Luo Yu frowned slightly. This was not a good thing. In the past, the overseas immortal islands had only Boundless Mountain as their leader, but now there were some changes. Luo Yu did not say anything else. Beside him, Li Wuqi said casually, "Luo Yu, accept your fate. Misery is in big trouble now. Those local demons are attacking the immortal islands everywhere, and your Boundless Mountain is the first to bear the brunt. The Sea Guardian is gone, and there's no one to suppress misery. Misery is in a mess. If you cooperate with Fang Ping, you might be able to keep your family business. If you don't," Luo Yu frowned and said, "Li Wuqi, if everyone has this attitude, the overseas immortal islands will definitely be taken advantage of by Fang Ping this time. How childish and ridiculous. This is not the way to negotiate." He had enough of this big water buffalo now. His IQ was frighteningly low. The key was that he did not know anything and liked to interrupt. On the overseas immortal islands, the Misery Sea demons were in turmoil. Now, there were wars everywhere. The overseas immortal islands could exist because most of the immortal islands were actually made up of heavenly realm fragments or the kind of semi-divine weapons that could float in misery. On the immortal islands, it was like the immortal world. Not only was there an abundance of energy, but there were also a lot of treasures. Even the local demons could not stay in the Forbidden Sea forever. They needed a place to rest. However, this time, Misery Sea was in turmoil. Many of the demons' lairs were directly submerged and destroyed. Now, a large number of demons had no place to rest and had no choice but to attack these immortal islands. They wanted to seize the immortal islands and turn them into their habitat. Luo Yu's visit this time was also because of this. Initially, he did not take the humans' invitations seriously. However, Yu Wuhua and the others said that maybe they could talk to the human. Fang Ping had many tricks up his sleeve. He might have a way. Although Luo Yu felt that the chances were not high, he still came to protect the family business of Boundless Mountain. Once Heavenly Emperor Wuya left, Boundless Mountain would be lost. That would be unfair to Venerable Emperor. Luo Yu's rebuke was not surprising. The big water buffalo snorted and ignored him. It had its own plans. Moreover, the water tribe was not in as much danger as them because the water tribe was also a demon. Now that they were negotiating with the sea demons, it was slightly easier than Boundless Mountain and the other forces. However, negotiating was not a long-term solution. The sea demons were ambitious. In the past, they were afraid of Venerable Emperor and did not dare to riot. Now that Venerable Emperor had left, and the Sea Guardian had also left, these local demons were unrestrained. If this continued, the Water Tribe's dojo might not be able to be preserved. After flying for a while, they saw the giant cat head at the city gate in front of them. Li Wuji was a little uncomfortable. His abdomen vibrated. This cat is everywhere. It's so annoying. He hated this cat. Beside him, Long Xian from Dragon Island had also fought alongside Fang Ping and the others before. When he heard this, he had a helpless look on his face. Long Xian was a demon and not at the top, but now he was like a real person. This was also a characteristic of the dragon tribe. They could transform into human form in advance. Ordinary rank. 9 dragons might not be able to do it, but Long Xian did it. This meant that he was not far from the top. At this moment, Long Xian sighed. Accept your fate. Venerable Emperor once said that in the early years when the heavenly realm was still around, Emperor Tsang and Celestial Emperor often came to the Bitter Sea to fish. Even Venerable Emperor's descendants were fished away a few times. Venerable Emperor went to the heavenly realm to complain, and even found the Sea Guardian, but it was useless. Helpless, Venerable Emperor could only join in and harm others with Emperor Tsang and Celestial Emperor. Only then did he escape. The 2 emperors no longer fished the dragon tribe. Hearing this, Yu Wuhua and the others could not help but laugh. They really did not know about this history. So this was how Dragon Emperor hooked up with Heaven Cat and Heaven Dog. After Long Xian finished, Li Wuji also cursed. My elder ancestor is honest. He is not as cunning as your Venerable Emperor. Last time, this cat worked together with your Venerable Emperor and broke his golden body. Elder ancestor only talked about the past when he returned. This cat is not a good thing. Speaking of which, when my elder ancestor was in the heavenly realm, he was quite familiar with them. Elder ancestor said that when this cat and dog went to steal the emperor's mansion, he turned a blind eye to it, who knew that they were so heartless. When it mentioned this, Long Xian smiled and said, Wu Qi which emperor is the water god Venerable Emperor under? I have also asked Venerable Emperor, but he said Avicania. Hearing this, you Wu Hua and Luo, you were a little curious. The water emperor was an ancient venerable emperor. Everyone knew this. However, the water emperor was an outsider. After the heavenly realm was destroyed, he came overseas and established the water tribe. In this aspect, it was different from the others, including Dragon Emperor. He had lived in the Bitter Sea for a long time. Boundless Mountain and Immortal Seeking Island were the same. Speaking of which, the water tribe was noble. Back then, the tribes that lived in the heavenly realm were more noble than those in the Bitter Sea. Without status, without a backer, without the 9 emperors and 4 emperors, and without the officials of the heavenly court, it was difficult to survive in the heavenly realm. My elder ancestor, Li Wuji, thought about it, shook his head and said, "Don't ask me, I don't know." The elder ancestor doesn't mention these things. All these years, the elder ancestor rarely mentioned the past of the heavenly realm. They heard this and did not ask anymore. They were not too sure why the water emperor did not mention it, but it might be related to some grudges. Bypassing this topic, they landed on top of the city wall. The others were fine, but the water emperor was stared at by many. Water ox snorted, a little unhappy. What were they looking at? Never seen an ox before. These humans were so annoying. When I become a peak, I will transform into a human and go to the human race to hook up with those females. Did they not see Long Xian attracting the attention of many female martial artists? Li Wuji looked around, saw the passageway entrance, and was about to fly over. Gua Shengquan, who was talking with Luo Yu and the others, frowned slightly. On the side, Guan Fu and Mei Lingfeng from MCMAU quickly flew in front of him, blocking the passageway. Seeing this, Li Wuji said unhappily, "I and Fong Ping are sworn brothers. My elder ancestor and Emperor Tsang are also good brothers. I want to see my brother now. Go in quickly." Li Wuji. Behind them, Luo Yu and the others frowned slightly. What was this ox trying to do? Li Wuji ignored them and said again, "Hurry up. I heard that my brother is now your boss. I'm going to congratulate him. Go in quickly." Guo Shengquan frowned. After a moment, he said, "Old Fu, Lingfeng, escort Brother Wuji in." Yes, both of them responded, a little surprised by Guo Shengquan's decision, but they did not say anything. They separated and accompanied Li Wuji into the passageway. Li Wuji looked a little smug, looked back at the others, and walked in proudly. After it left, Luo Yu said telepathically, "What is this stupid ox trying to do?" Yu Wuhua shook her head lightly. How would she know what this ox was trying to do? At the passageway entrance, Fong Ping was just about to go in when an ox rushed out. Fong Ping was shocked, and just as he was about to attack, Li Wuji shouted, "Brother Fong, I haven't seen you for a few days, and you've become more charming." Fong Ping was stunned. Li Wuji? What was this guy doing? Sucking up to him the moment they met. He and Li Wuji were not exactly on good terms. The first time they met in the Emperor's tomb, this guy ran fast, or else Fong Ping would have killed him. The second time they met in the king's battleground, this ox did contribute a lot, but they were not friends, right? Li Wuji did not care about this. After shouting, seeing that Fong Ping did not attack, he breathed a sigh of relief and said quickly, "I'm here to report. The overseas Immortal Islands are under attack. The Misery Sea demons are now besieging the 33 Immortal Islands, and there are many peerless powerhouses attacking. Your crazy Taoist, who ranks second on the absolute talent list, is there. Luo Yu and the others came this time to ask for help. Brother Fong, feel free to kill them, no problem. I came to the human world for no other reason than to not let you suffer losses and be cheated by them." Li Wuji's voice transmission was fast. Without a pause, he continued, "Of course, when you go to Misery, I have to entertain you. I've prepared good wine and dishes on the Waterforce Island, just waiting for you to go. Oh yes, there's a treasure ship in Boundless Mountain that can travel 100,000 li a day, sailing on the Misery Sea, not suffering from its corrosion." Immortal Seeking Island. Immortal Seeking Island. Where is Immortal Seeking Island? In Immortal Seeking Island, there is an immortal seeking pill that has been passed down from ancient times. It is said that after consuming this pill, one can become an immortal in the source world. My patriarch once said that after consuming this pill, one can form a radiant sun in the source world. I see that Brother Fong's spiritual consciousness is strong. Sooner or later, you'll be able to fuse the source world. After consuming this pill, you can definitely go further. It's like an immortal source, illuminating the land, communicating with nothingness, letting the source world's spiritual chi surround you. Fong Ping was stunned. "You are here to sell your teammates? Why do I feel like I'm in a trance? Wasn't this ox very stupid? It learned to sell people." No, it was not the first time it sold its teammates. Last time in the Emperor's tomb, this fellow abandoned others and ran away quickly. It was obvious that Li Wuji was addicted to selling his teammates. However, at this time, Fong Ping's attention was really attracted. A treasure ship that could sail on the Forbidden Sea, an immortal inquiring pill that could make the source world have another sun, especially the second one. Fong Ping's heart moved slightly. His source world was still dark, unlike the cat's world where the sun was bright and beautiful. Fong Ping could not figure out how to make the source world bright. Not everyone liked darkness. He also hoped that the source world could have sunlight. However, he was not in a hurry now, so he did not ask the cat. What Li Wuji meant was that this pill could turn into a sun in the source world. That was a good treasure. Li Wuji saw that he did not speak and said again, "Brother Fong, also on the Dragon Island, the Dragon Emperor killed a venerable rank demon a few years ago. The corpse was well preserved. Forging a true divine weapon is not a problem. Brother Fong, although you have a divine weapon, the other humans will have a great increase in combat strength if they are equipped with a true divine weapon. If that Li Changsheng has a true divine weapon, he will be the first among the rank 9. Fong Ping did not know whether to laugh or cry. This ox came out for this. "Brother Li, do you have any requests?" "How can I have any requests?" Li Wuji said, "Honestly, Brother Fong can come to Waterforce Island as a guest. I have prepared 100 rank 9 demons outside the island, waiting for Brother Fong to kill them and bring them back to make weapons." These words, Fong Ping was speechless. "You can just say it. Your Waterforce Island is surrounded by demons, and you want me to help you kill them. Why do you have to do this? You even prepared wine and food, prepared demons for me to kill, and bring them back to make divine weapons. How dare you say that?" "I understand. Brother Li, you don't have to be so polite." "You're welcome." "Brother Fong, you must go," Li Wuji roared. If he did not go, Waterforce Island would be breached soon. Fong Ping was speechless. He could not be bothered. He smiled and said, "Bring Brother Li to the House of Governors. I will go greet the other guests." Li Wuji's face was full of helplessness. "You haven't agreed yet. I came all the way here, and I even snitched on you. You have to give me a definite answer. Brother Fong, if you go, remember to bring the Pluto King." The Waterforce clan has long wanted to see the Pluto King. Fong Ping had already entered the passageway. He could not be bothered with it. The Pluto King might be fighting with your ancestor now. Where did the Pluto King come from? Just as Li Wuji entered Magic City, the Fong family, the cat's nose twitched. It closed its eyes and said lazily, "Calf." Calf's meat is tender, but it's too weak. Do you want to have a snack first? Beef was delivered to its doorstep. It wanted to eat it. At this moment, Li Wuji, who was only a few li away from it, suddenly shivered. What was going on? Was the human world dangerous? Fang Ping received Luo Yu and the others. After some small talk, he led them out of the catacombs. The people from the overseas immortal islands were a little surprised. However, Li Wuji had already said that the overseas immortal islands were surrounded by demons. These people might not be here for Fang Ping. They were most likely here for Li Jun. There were 3 people on the emperor ranking. The first 2 were from the divine sect. As for the divine sect, they might not even dare to cooperate with the overseas immortal islands. The Pluto king in the human world had a much better reputation. In addition, both sides had worked together before. Now, these people were probably hoping to get the Pluto king's help to solve the crisis in front of them. Since Fang Ping knew what they were thinking, he was prepared. Maybe he could make a fortune this time. As for how to solve the crisis, Fang Ping did not think too much about it. Wasn't the cat here? If it did not work, he would bring the cat to eat barbecue skewers. This cat liked to eat barbecue skewers. Now that the overseas immortal islands were everywhere, he could have a big meal. The human world. At the same time, all parties gathered in Magic City. A silhouette appeared in the wilderness. Looking around, the figure murmured, "I'm in the human world. Spiritual energy is really scarce. So scarce. How did these people cultivate to such a level? Even if Earth's energy was recovering, it was still too scarce for perfected Lord Dijo. In the divine sect headquarters, that was the heavenly realm. The energy was extremely rich. In the divine sect headquarters, in the Forbidden Sea, he could absorb energy without restraint to replenish himself. In the human world, however, perfected Lord Dijo frowned slightly. If he absorbed energy here, he would probably set off an energy vortex and be discovered in the blink of an eye. The human world is really filthy. Perfected Lord Dijo murmured. His figure moved and disappeared in an instant. He had already sensed the disciples' aura. After a while, in a courtyard, a few powerhouses knelt and said loudly, "Greetings, Pope." Perfected Lord Dijo frowned slightly and sat down on a chair. He was not used to it and said in a low voice, "Rebuild the human god temple immediately." He was used to being high and mighty. He was extremely uncomfortable sitting on a wooden chair in such a dilapidated place as the headquarters. "Pope." Below, an old man looked troubled. "Pope, Sino Nation, and other countries in the human world are searching for us. Not long ago, the Cloud Wolf missionary was killed in Sun City. The others were also killed or captured. Perfected Lord Dijo's face was cold. After a while, he said lightly, "Are the few people who were captured in the divine sect dead?" They were imprisoned in the heavenly department's prison. The previous divine sect's deputy pope was imprisoned together with them. Perfected Lord Dijo said lightly, "Heavenly department? The dojo, where Fang Ping is?" "Yes. Isn't Fang Ping holding some meeting recently? If that's the case, I'll go take a look and save a few disciples who were captured." Perfected Lord Dijo was very confident. He was a veteran powerhouse among the 72 Lords God. He was not the one who ranked at the bottom. Now that he had entered the human world and Fang Ping had captured his people, of course, he could not sit back and do nothing. It was a good time to investigate the situation. Although it was not suitable for the protector to touch Fang Ping, now it did not mean that he could not. Fang Ping had a divine weapon. Wang Jinyang and the others also had divine weapons. Perfected Lord Dijo was excited at the thought of it. Divine weapon. In the past, King Kuan was there. The protector was there. The protector was there. Even if he got the divine weapon, it might not be his. But now that he had it, and the protector was entangled by the Netherworld King, wouldn't it be his? If he was in the human world, the protector might not come. If the news of the human world was blocked, the protector might not even know. Divine weapon, a whole set of divine weapons. And the dojo of King Wu, and the others might have some secrets too. Since King Wu and the others can cultivate the Emperor path, I might be able to. Perfected Lord Dijo was also ambitious. Now, the human world was at its weakest. If the divine sect secretly controlled the whole human world, it was not impossible. Thinking of this, Perfected Lord Dijo said in a low voice, "Does the divine sect still have pawns? The 6 Holy Lands, are there people from the divine sect in the governments of the various countries? I would like to meet Fang Ping personally and meet him." Perhaps it was better not to show up now. As a representative, he would meet Fang Ping and weigh the pros and cons before taking action. Pope, the few people below, were worried. Among these people, some were powerhouses left behind by the previous evil sections. They knew how scary Fang Ping was. When the previous pope was around, he was cautious, and the evil sects almost never showed up. In the end, they were still uprooted. First, he did not know anything about the situation. He just came and wanted to go to the gathering Magic City. Was he not afraid that something would happen? They were still hesitating. Perfected Lord Dijo snorted coldly. "Why, my words don't work. I dare not." The old man suppressed his emotions and said hurriedly, "I will arrange it immediately. This time, there are 20 countries in the meeting. One of them has a divine sect disciple hiding among them. If the Pope can restrain his aura, he can disguise himself as a representative of that country. Then we will arrange it this way." Perfected Lord Dijo was full of confidence. The strong could discover the weak's disguise, but for the weak to discover the strong, it was a fool's dream. According to human classification, his mentality was close to 13,000 hertz, and he had walked close to 4,000 meters on the origin path. To discover him, only powerhouses at the level of Mount Wangguqing, Hua could do. Seeing that Perfected Lord Dijo was full of confidence and could not listen to other people's opinions, they did not dare to say anything more. This person was much harder to serve than the previous pope. The previous great pope would rarely appear. The previous pope was not considered weak, nor was he an idiot. On the contrary, under the circumstances of suppressing Heavenly King and the others, he could still root the evil sects in the human world. He was a character. However, the previous pope was so low-key that it seemed like he did not exist. This, the few of them sighed in their hearts, hoping that it would be fine. After all, those powerhouses had left the human world. Now, Fang Ping was in charge of everything. Fang Ping was still young. The old man was gradually relieved. It would be fine. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.